Good evening. Welcome again to another day, another presentation. Whether it's daylight in your on your end, afternoon, whatever the time zone is, we say welcome, welcome to the 147th edition of our broadcast here in the Issues Room. We'd like to thank you for coming through tonight. We pray and ask that you remain here with us because the conversation tonight are a little bit of politics, but a lot more than politics. And I encourage you to share the link, invite someone, invite every Liberian you can, because our studio guest tonight is a man endowed with the gift of uh, engineering. And I'm telling you, in all aspect of the word engineering, especially structure, architecture, and civil. So he is one of the backbones in our country, and we have underutilized this gentleman, and he will be here with us tonight. I'd like to say thank you so much for coming through, all of you. Please, please, please encourage others to join the conversation tonight. Let's take our country from its degradation. Let's just move to the day when it was the heyday. Let's talk about some of the good structure in our country, and today is left with ruins and skeletons and frames. And why? Who's responsible for this? Successive government, the Liberian people themselves, they sat there and looted their own. What happened along the way? We're going to be discussing that. And our guest here tonight is Liberian engineer Adolphus McCready. He will be joining us momentarily. I'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just encourage others to join us here tonight. Don't forget, we have Memory Lane, an excerpt that's coming up from Dr. Imani Sumo. He wrote a book, I believe it's Pain in Exile. So he took an excerpt from it and will be carrying that. Also, what type of country is this? I was thinking about something and I was saying, what this country is about. Why can we not just find the right path? Why? So something is responsible. Maybe Alfonso knows about it. So let me just ask him. Alfonso, welcome. Why can we not just find the right path?
Hi, Volcano. Good to see you again. The last few days. Thank God it's Friday as well. TGIF. It's a question that I can't answer. I mean, I do have some ideas, but I think also if anybody thinks that they have the answer to that problem, I think they will be deceiving themselves and the public. But we do have some ideas. So I'm happy to join you and Mr. McCready and our listening public to try to, share our ideas and our thoughts on how we can move the country forward. But it's not one person, it's not one group of people that are responsible. I think it's a cultural thing. As so Yeah, let's debate it and let's share our ideas and thoughts.
Thank you, thank you. Moses Sandy will be joining us at some point. He called to give his excuse based on the traffic. And Alfonso, sometimes I want to get angry, but I can't because this is pro bono work.
Yes.
And I'm like, what my man at? They're not coming. And,
And, uh,
and when we plan the conversation, you guys not showing up,
on time,
so then
not showing up, but
yeah,
not showing up on
yeah,
time.
so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. The truth is I'm old school. I'm able to hold my own, but
Yeah,
it's never better without the team. That
that
is
is
why it's a team approach. I may
yep,
go solo, I may do my thing, but overall, the team is
yep,
necessary.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
you can make it in. I hope that Moses will join us at some point because what type of country is never laughable, is never stress-free, never humorous with all Moses Andy. He doesn't,
Absolutely.
he doesn't complain you're low.
And the new one is, while the other gentleman was saying, "Hey, Allah," the other people walking around saying the blood of Jesus.
The blood. Thomas Awaji, welcome. I knew this conversation would be personable to you, and that's why I'm happy that you can join us here tonight. Your big brother, the old man, is in the house to share with us where we are with regards to our national infrastructure and institutions. Ram Snotton, it's good to see you, my brother. Of course, man can talk all, but tonight we got to talk all. Urgent on you. Welcome. Continue to share the link, spread the word. Let me go backstage now and bring in our guest, in Liberia, they say you either ambassador or you honorable. Which one I should put here? Or you excellency? Which one?
Hi, none of the above. I'm just Mr. McCurdy.
Yeah, so welcome. Your first time here. It's good to see you, sir. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation. We have been looking across our country, and it's not just the politics, but I know the country at least to a greater extent when I was growing up, and so I know what it was prior to the war, and what we have not rather been able to accomplish in terms of changing the trajectory. It seems as though we are regressing day by day, and it's scary. But we want to say thank you for joining us here tonight. You have a wealth of experience, so we'll tap into those experience. But let's just start this conversation with you setting the tune. Tell the Liberian people who is Mr. McCready, your background, what contribution you've made in terms of service to the country. Then we'll delve into the conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you for letting me have the opportunity to be on your show, which is about like the first time I've done any sort of interview like this before.
And you're doing
Uh,
well. You're doing well. Honestly, you got electricity, you got good data in Liberia. I mean,
Well, don't praise the data too well because you know the loon side it goes in and out anytime.
okay. All right.
But anyway, I started my education at Ricks Institute, and then after that, I was awarded a scholarship to go study engineering at the University of Liberia. But when I got there, I wasn't impressed with what they were offering. First of all, they didn't have an architecture program. All they had was civil engineering, and I wasn't interested in civil engineering. So I declined the scholarship, and I got another offer to go to study abroad, which I went to Tennessee State University and did my studies there, and I got graduated in 1981. And I came back to Liberia and started working for Milton and Richards. Uh, During the time I worked for Milton and Richards, I gained a lot of experience working directly under the watchful eyes of the late Winston D. Richards, which is, I mean, he was Liberia's greatest architect that ever walked this Liberian soil. And he too was underappreciated because the politics plays into what we do on a day-to-day basis. That's why I give a lot of credit to the late President William R. Talbot and the late President Tubman. Those two presidents, they invested in the Liberian people. They invested in not only in the country, but they invested in the human resources of Liberia. For example, Winston was in America. Tubman called him and said, "Look, we have a political party here, but we do not have a political headquarters. I need you to come right away and design me a headquarters for our party." Send a plane ticket while he boarded the flight. At the time he boarded the flight, he didn't know what he was going to put together. He sat down, and this is information that he told me when we were conversing, during our
Working
day-to-day
together.
operation.
Working together.
He told me that the concept came to him in while he was flying over the Atlantic Ocean, and he got a piece of napkin and he started to sketch, and he started to sketch. When he landed in Liberia, he finally knew what he wanted to do. Today, at that time, uh, financing were not a problem for the government. After that initial design sketch, today we have EJ or we had EJ What was the EJ that you and myself know?
Yeah.
You and myself know of.
Mhm.
That place hosted international matches. The World Wrestling Organization, they had matches there. International stars came and performed in and out. Local high school talents had talent show like every other month or so. It was a very nice place and conducive place to go and entertain and then have programs. Okay, after that transpired, We need the government didn't have a Ministry of Finance. I mean, the Department of Finance. So Tubman again called him and said, look, we need a Treasury Department. He sat down again, and today we have Foreign Ministry, what we know today as Foreign Ministry. That was one of Winston Rich's design right there. And if you look at that, the aesthetics of Foreign Ministry is almost like a typical high-rise building in Chicago, because he had come directly from Chicago and he had that influence in him. So he just put together that Ministry of Finance that we have together. Fast forward to 1970, if my memory serves me right, 1977, 1978, when the late President Towa decided to host the OAU. Okay, this was a very ambitious president that we had. I wish we could have a president like that again. President Towa, that the reason why they called him Speedy, and people couldn't understand why they called him Speedy,
That was his late.
because he had so much to do for this country, and there was not enough time within his presidential period for him to get this accomplished. So that's why he was pushing things, and if he appointed you as minister this, minister that, on Friday, Monday morning, 8 o'clock, he's at your desk. And if you're not there 8 o'clock in the morning, you are replaced because you're not working for the government. So when he decided to host the OAU program, he made a bid. The OAU people agreed to have Liberia to host the OAU in 79. Towa came back and he saw that Liberia did not have the infrastructure to support this conference. We didn't have adequate airport. We didn't have hotels. We didn't have a conference, a large enough conference center. We didn't have places for guests to stay, and all those kind of things. So the OAU volunteered to send their people to design Hotel Africa and Unity Conference Center and all. This is early 78. So they went back and forth, and time were moving along. So President Towa got to a point and said, look, you're moving too slow for me. He called Winston Richards again. He said, look, Bowen, design me one hotel for my guests to stay in. And, he told me that, he used to smoke Dunhill International cigarettes. Those were one of the most expensive cigarettes. He told me, he said, Bubba, when President Towa called me like Friday morning, by Sunday evening, he had the design of Hotel Africa. See how exorbitant that place was. Overnight, he came up with that design. Then we had the Unity Conference Center. All those buildings were being constructed on a plan by plan basic. When I say plan by plan basic, it means like the foundation plan was completed, they sent it straight to the site. It started on the foundation. By the time the elevation and all the interior, it was done on. It was not like you have a whole set of drawing and then you start your construction. No, it was done as they built as you go. What we call it.
I think it was because the OAU itself had delayed, right? The OAU had delayed, so Towa was trying to just get going.
Yeah, they had delayed. So he told them, I don't need you anymore. I got my Liberian engineers, and they would do the work. After he got through with the Hotel Africa and the Unity Conference Center, the airport was the terminal building, the Rowsley terminal building was the next project, which he designed. Unfortunately, it got burned. But this was a president who invested in Liberian engineers. Okay, at that time, Milton Richards was like the largest architecture firm in the country at the time. There were other guys who came later on, like for example, Winslow Wallace, who designed the central bank that we have today. He's another very good architect. He had an office there by St. Patrick's. They call it WII. See, when we were growing up, these were guys that we look up to. Okay, as young people coming up, deciding what profession you're going to be when we had role models, serious role models. And the problem with the country today, and what I see, there are very limited role models outside of politics. That's why you have everybody aspiring to either work for government or go into politics because they don't have anything else to look forward to or to impress them. Besides, you see a guy, maybe he's just running around the community today. Tomorrow he's running for representative. Next day he's a big shot. So what encourages the guy in that community now to go and spend 5 years in the university studying engineering or medical, or any kind of medical field or accounting or anything outside of politics? You see, it's like they are creating a story of from rags to riches in politics, which is bad. And all these infrastructure that we had, all these happened between 1960 in 1979 in that period of time. What lies in ruins now is basically everything that was built from 1962 all the way up to 1980.
So let me stop you.
Okay, in the
let me stop you.
Ducal Palace was completed in 1962. It was done by American architect called Prince Neil Prince. Okay, and then again, Todman didn't have a place to host his guests. There were a lot of people, investors coming into the country, serious investors coming into the country. So he wanted somewhere presentable for them to live, and so they could feel like they are home. So that's why the Ducal Palace was built so exorbitantly, and everybody wanted to go stay at the Ducal.
That's the fear. He said, "Don't praise
Down press the
don't
down
praise
press
the
it. That's what's happening.
don't
Yeah.
praise the data." But that's a good historical background,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't know how much you know of Milton and Richards, but when I was growing up, the
Mhm.
office was on Center Street, just right around the corner from, not around the corner, but on the same line,
Yeah.
where the Post and Telecommunications.
As the post office, and I believe
Yeah,
later on that Echo, what's it, Echo Bank?
those central. Oh, you talking about Eurobank?
Eurobank, yes. Yeah.
Eurobank, the one that got destroyed, the
Yeah,
glass,
yeah, yeah.
our
Yeah.
first glass building we were
Exactly.
celebrating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eurobank. So they were, yeah, I know what Milton Riches was.
Yeah. So I hope he comes back, but I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to set the tune. A good way to
Mm-hmm.
set the tune.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I have been, we didn't even know that these
Yeah.
structures were built
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
result of Liberia architecture engineering. Let me go
Mm-hmm.
back to him this year. He's here. So you just talked about the data, so we understand, and our viewers will understand. But I wanted to hold you there when you were going with New York. I rather not New York, but Ducor. And Alfonso will come in. But a quick question I want to ask: we all heard, right? Mr. McCready, can you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You are praising. You are praising.
we all heard of the situation with President Tolbert, who had set the tune for many of the developmental projects in the country, the National Stadium, the Ministry of Health, the National Police Headquarters, all of those structure. Were those architecture designs by Liberians, or after Tolbert was assassinated, then those set the tune to start looking outside? Can you throw light on that? I'm concerned about that. Or those structures were designed by Liberian architects. I'm talking about the sports stadium, the National Police Headquarters, and that of the Ministry of Health in Congo Town. Can you hear me?
He's probably not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mr.
No,
McCready?
I can hear you well, but I can't hear the caller.
There's no caller. I'm
That's
asking
something.
you the
Breaking in.
question. I'm asking you the question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
asking
Go ahead.
I'm asking you
Go
whether,
ahead.
yeah, I'm asking you
Uh-huh.
the National Police Headquarters on Capitol Bypass, the Ministry of
Uh-huh.
Health in Congo Town, and that of the
Uh-huh.
National Stadium. When we were growing up, they said Tobo had earmarked all of those projects and they just left implementation. So I'm asking you, were those projects also designed by Liberian architecture engineers?
Okay, let's start with the National Police Headquarters.
Okay.
I was in my senior year in high school. It was like 1977. The Ministry of Public Works were working on the design for the National Police Headquarters. So that building, the design was completed during Talbot's administration. When the coup happened, everything stalled. Okay. Then after the coup, they gave a contract to Yunis brother, which was a Lebanese guy who was selling new tires. Didn't have no construction experience at all, but he had influence with the government official. So they gave it to him to construct. So that's why we have the National Police Headquarters today. But that National Police Headquarters was done by the engineers at Ministry of the architects and engineers at Ministry of Public Works. Namely, Aaron Milton was the lead architect for that project there, the National Police Headquarters, when he was at Public Works. The the health ministry, I think that was done through a grant from the Chinese people during Dou time. There was the maternity center by JFK, the new maternity center. When the old one got like dilapidated, the Japanese government donated the new maternity center to Liberia and was built there like 1981, 1982 in that period of time. What was the other building you asked about?
The stadium, the national stadium. I
Oh,
know
the
the Chinese.
national, the one where the one where the name SKD Stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that stadium was originally started by the Korean government way back in 79, 78, 79. That was supposed to be an event to a venue to host sporting activity during the OAU 79. But when the coup happened, it stalled. Okay, and when Doe took over, he being a soccer enthusiast himself, he put efforts into to continuing the work. And so the stadium was completed under his administration. That's why it's named SKD Stadium. But people don't know that he wasn't the one that coined that idea. It was actually it was a brainchild of what his name again?
Tauber?
Chesson.
Oh, oh.
No, not Albert Chesson. The late Chesson.
Joseph
He
Chesney?
was, yeah, he was Minister Youth and Sport man at the time, way back then.
Oh, okay.
He had an idea about building another stadium to complement Antonin Tubman Stadium. So that was birthed that idea, and he passed it on to President Tauber. So President Tauber said, "Okay, we got to find somebody to help us build this thing." So that's when the Korean government offered to do the work and build the stadium. But when all the stadium was designed in Korea, so
So
by the time
why we the Liberians always say the Chinese? So there we go, all of them look alike. So they were really Koreans then. I always
yeah,
thought,
well, but the Chinese people didn't come into play in Liberia till late 90s,
wow.
after the war.
And Alfonso,
Because
you knew
when I was growing up, there were literally no Chinese in Liberia up until the 70s, maybe 10, 15 like that. 79 up to 1979, 1980. There were very few Chinese here. We had Syrian, we had Lebanese, we had Korean, we had all the other nationals here. But the Chinese they were not many. But with the new world order, where China started to take over the whole continent of Africa, because they know that African people are struggling and they need help, so they just influx their grant and the system on not only in Africa, I mean in Liberia, all over Africa. You see,
Alfonso,
so
Um,
Alfonso.
but yeah, Mr. McCready, it's great to have you, and I'm struck and amazed by the your depth of information and knowledge, and we appreciate that. My question here, one of the questions, hopefully that I will ask you during the night if the data doesn't go off, is so what do you see? I know you started talking about it before you went off earlier. What do you see as the problem currently? And if I may add, do you have any prescriptions to that problem?
Well, we have prescription. I mean, it's just like if you're sick and you go see a doctor and the doctor gives you your prescription and you refuse to take the prescription. You say, "Oh, I will get well by myself." That is basically what's going on in Liberia. The problem I see here is administration after Toba administration. None of those administration in the last 43 years has paid any attention to the technical areas. None of them. They have not promoted. Just imagine, Liberia remains the only country in the whole world that does not have an Architects Act, which is an act that empowers the architects in the country to assemble themselves and act as a governing body to monitor architects that are practicing in the country, and they regulate every architect that comes into the country. So if you do not empower the architects, they are actually a toothless bulldog. It's like people like me, people like O'Connor, and other architects, Awaji, a lot of other guys, Jones, Bob Gray. We become powerless because we see all these misfits happening. We see all these quasi buildings going up, but we are powerless to stop them. You see, we are powerless to stop them. John Brown can come from India. He openly start doing architecture drawing right away. He sends it to Pablo. Pablo assigns it, and they go build. And what they don't is they had a thing some time ago that people started saying when these guys do the drawings, the rendering of this drawing, it looks so nice. Like they ask you to do a rendering of a building. It looks so nice on paper. But when it's built, it's completely different from what is on paper. The answer is simple because the drawing tools and the materials that are in the library of the AutoCAD that you use to render your drawing, they are not available in Liberia. You see, they are not available for sale in Liberia. So the drawing will have to look different from what is being built. And they not having the capacity to monitor every building site on a regular basis is one of the things that's holding progress back in this country. The Minister of Public is not empowered to have enough staff and vehicle to go around the country or go around the city and monitor every job that's going on. That's why you see sometimes somebody reaches roof level, and then you see MPW stop order. That stop order should have been placed from the minute the people put zinc around the place that they started the foundation. But these people, they don't have the vehicle. So the government need to empower the zoning department. They need to empower the zoning department, give them more vehicles or motorbikes for them to patrol all these areas. That's one of the ways these quasi buildings can stop here.
But let's be honest here. Even with government empowerment and vehicles and all of that, if people are not credible as the people who go out there, the watchdogs who go out there to make sure these things are not happening, but they compromise by bribe because they're underpaid, then of course we're still going to have the situation where you agree with that.
I agree with that. Well, when I say empower, which means it doesn't necessarily mean just give them vehicle. No, you have to compensate them well for them to be able to turn down a bribe, because what they are making as their salary will not be equal to any amount of bribe that it will take. And let's say they have benefit, health benefit, family benefit, death benefit, all that kind of thing. Before you take a bribe to jeopardize all of that, you would think twice. But if the people are not paid sufficient money, that human nature, what we call human nature, they will go out there and look over things that they're not supposed to look over.
Mr. McCready, I have another question for you. I think you made that point earlier, which is the Liberian engineers are not empowered, are not given contracts and the opportunity, and therefore, they don't have oversight as well. So other people just come in from different places and they present drawings and right away go to government and take contracts. I think that should be done by a professional engineers association, or trade organization, whatever it may be, a group of engineers coming together to jealously guide their profession, but also to make sure that they have a level playing field in terms of being able to get government contracts. Is there any such organization on the ground? I know we have the different organizations such as the commerce. How do they call it? Business people come together into
The
the
Chamber of
chambers
Commerce.
of commerce.
Chambers of
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Commerce.
yeah, yeah.
do we have any such
You also
uh,
have
uh, uh,
LIBA, the Liberia Business Association, LIBA.
Liberal Business Association, chambers of commerce? We have lawyers coming together under the National Bar Association. Do we have an engineers association?
Yes, we do. They have a very strong and vibrant engineering society of Liberia. We have a very strong and vibrant Liberian Institute of Architects. Okay, but here's the drawback: they are not legislated. So, if, for example, let me give you an example in Ghana, where I work and live on a regular basis. If you come in there and you want to do a project, that project must have a Ghanaian architect's signature on it, and you must be a member of the Ghana Institute of Architects before you can be able to implement any construction drawing in that place. Or you are a member of the Engineering Society of Ghana, Ghana Engineering Society. You have to be an updated member of one of those organizations for you to have any construction project go on. For
So,
you to be able to get any government project, you
mhm,
must be a member of one
mhm,
of those one of those institutions. And those institutions are legislated by the government.
uh-huh,
Contrary to Liberia, the Liberian Institute of Architects, the Engineering Society of Liberia, they are not legislated. We have tried several times to go to the House of Senate to convince the senators then that we need to be legislated. We need to be able to monitor what goes on in our country. Up till now, they have not seen the need to legislate architects and engineers in Liberia. Why? I really don't know. And
okay.
like I say, and I'll say again, Liberia remains the only country in the entire world that does not have an Architects Act or Engineers Act.
Mhm,
So that means there's a wide open field for every town they can hire to come in and do whatever you want to do. You get any government contract. You can, like for example, the Chinese people, the East group, the other group, wherever they call them, who are building these roads or the extending Route 3 Highway. They're doing Buchanan Road. They're doing the other roads up Cotton Tree Road and all the other. Who is there to monitor these people, to let them to check them, to make sure that these roads they are building, they are up to international standards? The World Bank came here not too long ago and said, and they condemned all the roads these people are building. They say they were not up to standard. Why? They're not up to standard because nobody checked them.
But
Nobody
Do you,
checked them.
do you think the situation is hopeless, or do you have do you have hope?
The only hope that I have is, and only if, these two powerful institutions could be legislated by the Liberian government. They're not, they are a self-supporting body, not there to say, okay, government will give them a budget to run themselves. No, they have their own means of generating funds. So they're not going to be depending on government for a budget every fiscal year or so. They just want to make sure that what is built in this country is being built up to par. That's all they're asking for. and why they don't see the need to give them the legislative power to be able to control what goes on in this country, I really don't know. Right now, Liberia is so blessed that we don't have adverse weather like hurricane, tsunami, and those kind of things. Because if a strong wind blows, a lot of buildings will keel over in this country. A lot of buildings will keel over. Sometimes you see a 2-3 story building, the column that's supposed to be 10 inch by 10 inch, someone is 6 inch by 6 inch. But they are building, and they will continue to build until it falls down.
Mm. But let me come in quick. I know that this and the truth here is it's not just the politics in all of this. And I think the last 43 years have robbed us of
Robert,
what could be our own aesthetics and design common to our country. Because you go in some countries, you when you enter, you know that that's what that country presents, and you will go anywhere else, you're not going to find it because they created a common identity in the architecture designs.
yes,
Unfortunately, now Liberia is a pool from everywhere on earth.
everywhere.
You know, we got all of
Because you see, just like you rightly alluded to, what works in Ghana may not work in Liberia. What works in Nigeria may not work in Liberia. For example, the open drainage system that you see very common all over the place, open drainage,
again,
it does not work for Liberia.
because the people took the
It does not
dive.
work for Liberia. It does not work for many West African countries because of the people way of life. See, before you see the Chinese people and the other people, they come in, oh, we want road. They come in, build your road. But they don't build the road for the people. They build the road for themselves and for whatever remuneration they're getting. Whether the Liberian people adjust to it, it doesn't matter. They just say, okay, y'all say one road, we're building a road. Look at the ministerial complex that they built. Look at the traffic congestion that happens there every evening. When they started that concept there, who had the goal to tell those people, say, look, this building is too close to the main road. You have to have a setback so we can have smooth flow of traffic in case we need to widen the road. It won't interfere with the building.
They don't
They,
even have
they, they,
parking lots. Just to tell you,
yeah, the square footage of that building there, it mandates and dictates that you have to have at least 1,000 plus parking spaces within the compound. But go check it now. There's very little allocation for parking there,
but
and you can
let me just hold you
you
there.
can in every building that goes on the Tottenham Boulevard. People build these hell of a high rises, but there's no allocation for parking. As a result, people park around the street because there's no enforcement. There's no enforcement. There's no zoning regulation that says you have to have so many square foot of building. You have to have so many number of parking for your building
And
for occupancy.
I think it boils down to proper planning. I think it boils down to the like you talked about, bringing the documentation, the architecture sketch, the plan, and say, this is what we're going to put here. You look at the dimension of the building, the size and everything, and then determine what type of building. Is it a commercial building? Is that building going to be a public service building? And if it's going to be utilized by the public, then there must be a size that is reasonable enough for the. But if you look at the ministerial complex, and I have complained about it over time, and even what President Weah just did the other day, apparently people celebrating because they settled for mediocrity, the Invincible Park. How can you put that place right there on the runway of an airport with the potential to reopen, and it's closer to the boulevard that doesn't even have an opportunity to expand? So all of these things are happening outside of proper planning, the right kind of people with the engineering mind, and politics takes a place in.
But check this out.
Yeah.
You just mentioned the Invincible Park. Do you know that there's another park that's almost like the Invincible Park, directly across the street from the Invincible Park? There's another place there where they're gonna be playing football and all kind of things. Directly across the street from the highways is right in the middle. Same thing, no adequate parking.
Hmm.
It's going to be a bottleneck between Vamuma Junction and Oro when that place actually opens up. Can you imagine you in town in a hotel, Cape Hotel or a Boulevard Hotel or Royal Hotel, and you got to catch a flight to Rouse Street, okay? And you run into traffic in those two sections there. Then by the time you reach the Boulevard Junction, it's even worse. Then they are talking about building an overpass at 540 at the 540 junction where the ministerial complex complex is. My question is how how is it physically possible to construct an overhead bridge to transition from the boulevard into the ministerial complex? They don't have the space.
They don't
But
have.
they keep telling the public that we will build overpass, we will build overpass. But they have not produced one 3D rendering of how it will look when it's completed. In other countries, before you even start doing those kind of things, you go to the zoning hearing, the NPU hearing, and what, and you present your drawing or you present your rendering, a picture of what you're going to build to the public, and the public will decide whether they want it or they don't want it. Okay, but here they keep telling you, you go in Ghana, for example, all the N1, the Nkrumah Circle, the all the overpasses that they built, or Tema Circle, all the overpasses that they built over there, before they started the work, they put a rendering of what it will look like for the public to see. So right then and there, people started making preparation to relocate themselves out of the construction zone. But right now they don't show anything, and people are increasing their businesses are increasing over there. The human traffic, people transitioning to Peace Island, all that traffic is in that area there. It was a good idea, but it was a good idea, but the site location was ill conceived, and you could not convince nobody at that time that that was the wrong site to put that ministerial complex.
But I,
The,
oh my,
if the solution to that to that 10 ministerial complex, you know what the solution would have been? To put a high rise there instead of spreading that thing all over the place. Put one single high rise that will carry 10-story or 15-story. I will house all of them right in that one building. Then you have more space for parking.
Mr. McCready, your old lady Ellen Johnson said he just wanted to wipe out Dole plan. He had a defense ministry there. Why the
Well,
all
like
that?
I said, I don't know what was the plan and what, because it started at EWA first, that didn't work
Hold
out.
on, hold on. Let me take blame for what I say. I'm seeing it because there was no need to destroy the Ministry of National Defense when
Oh,
you
I
don't
agree with you.
when you
I
don't
agree
have,
with you on that. There was no need.
I'm coming
There was no need.
when you don't have a national defense ministry as yet. You still
As
operating
yet, you don't have one.
the 26.
Why you sell one when you don't have one?
Yeah. So it was just a conceivable plan to say, listen, the military put me in jail, they did all kind of thing. I'm here for army people. So let's gut the thing down. You know, when people come in power, all kinds of politics play. But quickly, I just want to remind our callers and viewers, we'll open the line at some point around 8 o'clock. But in the meantime, we have Mr. McCready, one of our fathers who has been around for a while. He has a depth of history regarding the infrastructure and the development in our country. And I think you're learning a lot here tonight from his wisdom. So we'll continue the conversation. Don't forget, start thinking about what type of country is this, where we can do all kinds of things and you know, but we got plenty of talk to go about here tonight. So just continue to start thinking about it. We'll also have memory link coming at some point during the production. So, Alfonso, listen, I think it's important for this conversation.
Definitely is. It's definitely important. I mean, Mr. McCready struck a lot of points. One of the things he talked about that really remains in my mind right now is the issue of young people having role models. Also, the fact that our successive administrations have not prioritized engineering and technology, which is really, I mean, the direction in which the whole world is going right now, and that is impacting our infrastructure development. And just to stay on that point, I want to ask Mr. McCready, about the University of Liberia, about the engineering college at the University of Liberia, what his perspective is about it. Is it up to standard? Does it have the necessary training? Because at the end of the day, we want to train the new breed of engineers, like Mr. McCready and other people who will take over.
Okay. Before I go into that, I wanted to make one other point about how the old saying goes that a prophet is not well known in his own land. Uh, Before Accra became Accra, Kwame Nkrumah came to Monrovia to visit his friend Baron Todman. When he came to Monrovia, he was so impressed with the layout of the city that he asked President Todman to loan him the late Thomas Buchanan, who was Minister of, not Minister, the Secretary of Public Works at the time, to loan him the late Thomas Buchanan to go to Accra and help him lay out the city of Accra. The Accra you see today, which is so beautiful, was the brainchild of Thomas Buchanan that laid out that city. And when he laid it out, the Ghanaians improved on it. Okay? So that reason why I mentioned that is that because if you don't appreciate your own people, other people will appreciate them. Fast forward to the engineering program at the University of Liberia. I think it's a good program, and lately they started a school of architecture at the University of Liberia. I don't know how strong it is because I'm not too familiar with their curriculum and what they're trying to do there. I'm not too familiar with that, so I cannot comment anything that would say yay or nay because I really don't know. Okay,
Mhm.
but I would think that it's supposed to be a good program. It has been the strength of the engineering program at University of Liberia is the mining engineering department. They have put out some very good mining engineers. Outside of that, I don't know. I have not seen that product from the University of Liberia in the engineering area outside of mining engineering. Uh, in 2016, when I was president of the Liberian Institute of Architects, I was able to host the 57th convention of the African Union of Architects. We brought more than 47 architects from all over Africa to convene here in Monrovia. They came and they were so impressed with the program we had and how we developed the architecture program in such a short period of time. They at the end of the convention they declared what they call a Monrovia Declaration, which I have a copy of. And in that declaration, the African Union of Architects said that they would volunteer to establish a school of architecture in Liberia where architecture would be taught that is uniquely associated with Africans. It was like developing African architecture. I mean, you have Baroque architecture, you have European architecture, you have American architecture, okay? But we do not have African architecture. First of all, we do not even have Liberian architecture. You cannot look at any building in this country now and say that the Liberian architecture there. Because we are just taking things from here, there, yonder, and putting it together, and like we don't have cultural heritage, and we do not appreciate our own cultural heritage. And the Ghanaians, they appreciate the heritage. They thrive on the heritage. Oh man, the thing is here. Once we start to appreciate our own and promote our own, then we're going somewhere. As long as we depend on foreigners, we depend on this person, this other person, we will still be beggars in our own home. Okay,
Quick,
people.
Thomas
Go
Awaji
ahead.
is Thomas Awaji is asking here. Do you have any idea if there is a preservation society? to preserve our cultural heritage, our infrastructure, the things that
Yes, there's a possibility.
it's frozen again.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that part he talked about. There's no role model.
Yeah.
You know why there's no role model again?
Mm-mm.
Because he just said it. He talked
Yep.
about the folks who just want to go into politics, and
Yep.
everybody sees that. But
Yep.
the scary thing now that this we are government has done is to just promote pimping.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
promotion of pimping and keke.
So people not even going to school anymore, or they
Somebody
don't want
going,
to do
I mean, our country finish, oh. Let me bring Moses Sandy. Moses, our country finish, oh.
this.
I'm telling you something serious. Our country is finished.
It is
Uh,
for a very, very
uh,
long time. For a
in,
very, very long time.
in
It's
fact,
done. Yeah.
gentlemen, let me apologize to our many viewers for being late. Sometimes these things happen.
I mean, we already finished with
Yeah,
that late part.
yeah. By the way, it's good to be here this evening, and you're talking about what country finish volcano. I think that's something that I would rather like for us to dive into, next week.
Yeah.
Look, like you said, volcano,
Hmm.
the situation is so sad. Look, I saw a video, you guys talking about the pimping boys. I saw a video from Monrovia. I don't know what this young lady did. Less than 16-year-old. The guys went after her. She ran to somebody's house. They made their way into the house. They forced the young woman out. And that
Mhm.
woman, that lady, that young girl was physically assaulted by these guys and people standing around. I mean, the level of lawlessness I saw, I was sad in my man. And I saw another video. The very pimping boys you're talking about. There was this report about one of their colleagues being killed
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the Zogos.
Around the so clean era.
My metal guys mobilized.
Recently,
Yeah. Yeah.
Recently, I said, what if, I mean, we dive into the detail of that. The guys mobilized. Look, Labrador is not being governed. I'm telling you.
So the place finished, my man. The place finished. Let me tell you something, Moses. I was driving coming and I was thinking about this conversation. I hope Mr. McCready
Yeah,
comes back.
yeah,
And I'm saying to myself, how did Liberia get to this point? I still can't understand it. I still cannot process how this country. Look at this man just disclosed here that the 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 development of Accra, the city,
yeah,
capital
yeah.
city of Ghana, was the brainchild of a Liberian
Wow.
engineer. He said one Mr. Buchanan. Kwame Nkrumah went to Liberia and saw the layout of Monrovia and asked Tubman to borrow him this guy from the Ministry of Public Works, who
Yeah,
went to Accra and began the layout. The other thing the man said,
mm,
not every development should be brought to certain places. For instance, the open drainage they built
yeah,
prior to you coming, and
mm,
I want us to go back on that
yeah.
hmm
because they only created die pit. I call this thing die pit.
Oh,
hmm
yeah, because they throw everything in
Yeah,
there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
die and trash pit.
yeah,
How did Moses Sandy, your intelligence, your civilization, even if you got money, you
Yeah,
dig
man.
hole in your yard and bury your die, man.
Yeah, man.
But literally wait at night, take your die from your house and come and put it in the drainage.
Finish. Yeah. Block the whole place.
that's
How did we
indiscipline.
get to this
Yeah,
point? I still can't
that's the
understand it. And it creeps my skin. Many days I ask myself, will I ever be able to live in Liberia again?
My man, the level of
Time is running out.
lawlessness, my man.
Time is running out, Alfonso.
Time is running out for us. Time is running out for us.
Time's running
So
out.
it's a combination like the open stuff where people throw the dirt in the drainage or in the streets and all of that. It's a combination of two things. In my
Listen. Sorry for
yeah.
cutting. This
I'm
is,
putting
this is why.
the drainage in the gutters.
Why
The hammer. Isn't that what your president said?
Yeah, I put it in
you,
drainage in the
you were,
gutter.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
were
am I
telling,
just going after your president?
you were telling, he said, Colasco. I see, that one I'm telling you, you said, you'll be telling the people, you gotta tell the people to stop putting the drainage in the
I
gutter.
drainage in the gutter.
Hello, man. I'm begging, man.
Yeah,
we
it,
we have
it's
not gotten into what country is this.
Go ahead, go ahead.
put a drainage in the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think is this level is that just the pervasive culture of indiscipline, but also as you both have said, Moses and you, Volcano, is lawlessness. It's lack of enforcement of the
You see,
law.
Thomas said we shouldn't raise your blood pressure tonight. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, Alphonso,
yeah.
go
No,
ahead.
it's fine. It's fine. We're having fun here. If you're driving in the street or you come outside, even us who live here, right? That's why we
Mhm.
have the stuff to throw our dirt in.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, if you throw it in the street and they catch you,
of course you get fined.
you get fined. You
You
know,
get fined, yeah.
some cities like here, they just brought recycled bins, brand new recycled bins, and supply us with recycled bins. So when
Yeah,
they come back and they see that in your recycled bin you get trash in there, they will fine you. You
yeah,
know, so it's both ways. It's indiscipline on the part of the population, but it's also the government A not enforcing, B not providing the services.
But
And
I also want to attribute the lack of civilization, man. Come on. Most of the people in the city never lived in the doggone city. Most of the people migrated to Monrovia and don't want to go back. And this is all strange to them. I remember growing up, we had trash bin on the street corners.
yeah.
yeah,
We
The
had
Monrovia that you and I grew up in, we saw
we
those
had
but
things.
there's no trash bin right now, for example.
we had mailboxes, we had telephones, street
Yeah,
telephones, paid phones that you called back then.
yeah.
You know, how did we get to this point? I still can't understand it. And it all boils down to Mr. Charles Taylor, to Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and to this man called George Weah.
See,
These people are responsible for where the country is today.
Why do
Today,
you say so?
because they didn't do the work. And they still not they didn't do the work.
How about
Because
people before them? How about people
yeah,
before
yeah.
them?
I
no,
would
no,
say we should even go further a
no, no,
little
no, no, no,
bit.
no, no. I'm not talking about going further. Before the war,
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, you talking about before? Okay,
yeah,
now, yeah.
before
Some of those days, best you
yeah,
try.
before the
Yeah,
war, we had structure. We
yeah.
had
We
things in
haven't
place.
lost
So when you
structure.
come to destroy the country and lead it to war, you must be able to take it from war and restore it.
Oh yeah, that's
Ellen
not
Johnson
true.
Sirleaf bragged on the BBC,
Yeah.
destroy the mansion with bidding in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's not true.
it took 12 years fixing the mansion. She didn't break it down and rebuild it in 3 days. She took 12 years fixing the mansion, putting monies in the pocket. And I'm not afraid to say these things. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I will give credit to
You
we'll
know,
give credit to Mr. Weah on that. He
also
came.
so.
They
So
were able to complete that renovation.
yeah,
Yeah.
the setup to
Is
destroy
it
the country
complete, Moses?
through
Is
war.
Oh,
the
oh yeah.
renovation?
Yeah.
Yeah, for Volcano, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. It's
the setup to destroy
Moses.
the country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying I'm not talking about pre-war. I'm talking about this
Mhm.
war time that they
Okay.
created, and they were
Yeah.
Mhm.
presidents, and all of them were the ones who
Mhm.
were ranked leaders
Mm-hmm.
to destroy our country. And
Mhm.
today they left it. Ellen left that country well positioned. Her children, all of her cronies, well positioned. And what happens? The country is now in George Weah's hand. They're going to leave power well positioned, but the country will be even worse. And that's
Mhm.
the point I'm making. Now,
No,
Yeah.
and
I want anybody to differ with me.
No,
no,
you're right.
that's
You're absolutely right.
that's a powerful point.
Um,
That's a powerful point.
one of the
Um,
foremost, sorry, Alfonso. What I was saying, one of the foremost challenges we have in Liberia that tend to supersede everything we do is greed, personal ego, no sense of nationalism. I mean, what country you were working in when you are appointed to a position? The first thing you ask whether there's chopping. A volcano?
Mr. McCready is back. Let's try to bring in Moses.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry for that interruption there. We had lost power and the router went off, so I had to reset it.
we know what's going on. That's what we're talking about. You see,
You already want us, so we know.
I want to tell Cherry, my man, that the people came to destroy the country, but they had no plan to restore it and to maintain it. So we have not been restored and we cannot be maintained. So that's why we're having these things happening. But Moses just joined us. He see he gone
He
back.
gone back again.
So Moses, go back to the issue you were making.
Yeah, the point I was making is that the foremost challenge we have in Liberia is personal ego, greed, no sense of nationalism. Everybody, I say everybody who goes into a public service is all about personal ego. I mean, look at George Weah. Not using as an example. This guy set a precedent in Liberia, and now will continue to haunt him for years. In less than 6 months, a man built for himself. I mean, in less than 6 months, he built for himself 49 condominium. Where did he take the money from?
You know what I want to share with you, Moses?
Uh-huh.
Every time I hear you mention this, and I was sitting there, and Alfonso, probably you will come in and agree with me.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, these guys, after they got they won the elections and they were given the helm of leadership.
Mhm.
Samuel Toure is the brainchild of what's happening in Liberia under this
Okay.
government. Because we have openly said at his Jamaica resort that it
Yeah.
meant that the bookman.
Yeah, boom,
So
man.
he said, my man, the thing while looking at it, that only 6 years we got. If we start eating now, we act funny, the people then take us off, will be zero. So he sat there, he said, listen, let's start first with the harmonization. Let's test your popularity with the conscience of the Liberian people. Let's reduce salary. That extra money, we can put it into our personal data.
Yeah.
They brought that proposal, Liberian people accepted it. Whether, wholeheartedly, at least there were some who were disgruntled, but they
Mhm.
accepted it in majority. Then he said, okay, the 16 billion we got here, let's share it and start building. What
Yeah.
happened? Nathaniel McGill, Jefferson Koji, then they started buying property within no time.
Yeah.
Said the president started to build.
Mhm.
$25 million walk away. They started testing the strength
Yeah, of the
of
people. Yeah.
Liberian people, but they knew that the people were fatigued. That's why I was saying hopelessness, helplessness. That's where Liberians are, and everything to them is good.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Those guys were testing the people, the willpower, and they
Yeah.
tested, and nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
Nothing whatsoever. I mean,
Nothing.
Alfonso, what do you think?
I think it's true. I mean, when they came, definitely they wanted to. They also, another thing I want to add is they saw their friends, because the tours and all work with Amara Khan and them as well. They all were in Minnesota, so they saw James, what's his name, Dr. James, what
Yeah, Collie. Yeah.
colleagues. So they saw their friends and colleagues who were then were in Minnesota, were then running around, join the Ellen Johnson's elite government and get rich overnight. So that was also their hope. When we get there, we'll also get rich overnight. We'll get there, nothing will happen. And it goes back to the culture in Liberia of impunity. So they knew that. So once they took power, they decided to get rich like their friends. And one of the things, as you said, they did was to say, Judge Where's the bus? Let's give him enough money to build his condominiums, renovate
Yeah.
his house, do everything as a way of, closing his mouth. Let's start from him. So
Yeah.
they gave him all of that. And undercover, of course, as they used to do to Samuel Doe. What's his name? Former finance minister who now works with George Weah.
Emmanuel
Um,
Shaw,
and Shaw then used to do the food,
buying
Samuel Doe
schools and things. Yeah, bringing
come here and go to these, shops here, men's warehouse and stuff,
Yeah.
and
And
buy
getting the bad suits. Yeah.
$150 coat suit, $200, and go and say, Mr. President, this is 1,005 $5,000 goes to, and then they take the money and they tell him, "Oh, we want to build a house for you and for your girlfriend, your other girlfriend there," but they build three, four houses for themselves. That's basically what's happening now on Joshua.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has no clue. He likes the trappings of power. He can walk around, people walking around him and call him Prezo. They give the day he calls for money and they give it to him. For him, it's fine. That's how it is. A friend of his and told me years ago when he was running for president, way in 2003 or so. It said Joshua is running for president not to run the country. He's not interested in that. Joshua is running for president in the trappings of power, in the celebrity of it. If he becomes president, you will see it. And that guy is here in Philadelphia. I won't say a name here publicly because it ain't.
Yeah, he didn't give you the
But
go ahead.
everything he has said about what would have happened under Joshua has come to pass. That's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening right
Mr. We are proving him right.
now. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I
And
mean,
go
yeah,
ahead.
no, what I was saying is that how do you take over? The essence of change is to improve upon what the others did before you. But when you come, you reverse everything and you center everything around you and your people, then you are not a good leader. And that's why George Weah is not a good leader. It's all about himself. It's about himself. It's about himself. It's about Samuel Tue. It's about Findabondo and all those other people that running around here that are literally looting the country. I mean, look at Finda.
And you know what hurts me?
Yeah.
Contributing nothing. Under any
Yeah.
normal circumstance, Finda Bono should be chief of protocol.
I mean,
In
come
Liberia.
on. She doesn't measure up,
But
man.
I have not even heard this woman speak.
But man, the woman doesn't measure up to that status. Can you compare her to the late Adolphus doing?
And I
Samuel
think,
Doe, chief of protocol?
yeah,
Or Hansford,
yeah,
Charles
yeah.
Hansford.
Charles Hanson.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems of the Joshua government. He did not recruit sound,
Qualified people.
trained,
No.
qualified people to his government. Samuel Doe, with everything that he did, he had really qualified people in key positions in his government. He brought
Yeah.
educated, he brought qualified people in his government. And there's one major deficit of this government is that they really don't have qualified people.
And you know why? You know why Doe did what he did?
Mhm.
No.
Because I would tell you, I was close to one of his professor of
Mm.
political science. He was deputy minister at the Ministry of Defense. Uh, uh,
Okay.
uh, 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 he was
That
in
Professor Don?
done.
Yeah.
I
Done.
was like, he left Peking because he
He,
lived on
he
jet.
was at foreign affairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs.
No, 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 not that done, not that done.
Another Don.
He was
Okay.
deputy at the Ministry of National Defense.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The late Don. He's deceased now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the man said Doe had an insatiable quest for
To learn.
knowledge.
Yeah.
He really wanted to learn, and so that's why he brought learned people around him.
Mm-hmm.
But not just learned, but learned and exposed people
Yeah.
around him. That's a difference in getting your little bachelor in Liberia and you say you educated, but you got no exposure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But these other guys were exposed. They traveled abroad, they had
Mm-hmm.
so Doe had that insatiable desire to learn. We are on the other hand, no.
No.
He's
That
not
that
interested.
like Alfonso says it's only about the trapping of power.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. That he can wake up and people think say, yeah, Prezo, you are the best.
But then you know what hurts me too on
Yeah.
this in the same conversation we're having, and I hope Mr. McCready comes back. But let's look at the fact and the reality here.
Mhm.
There are people now who have given up. Political pundits have given up that the ball will win again. The
Mm-hmm.
opposition they ain't got nothing. They're asked not to get. Is that what you should be even advocating for
You know,
another 6 years? Is that what you should really be advocating?
you
The
know,
ball will win the game, Moses.
Volcano,
I give
when you are faced with that is where we talk about hopelessness. When you feel powerless, when you feel overwhelmed, nothing you can do about it. then you become hopeless. You give up. We make plans for the future because we believe there's something ahead of us. We invest our money into homes, into properties, because we know that there's something to live for. But when you lose that hope, Volcano, you give up on everything. You no longer care. To even take shower, you will not do it. You say, I don't care. So if you see a friend of yours that was ready, looking good, well attended to, and this guy is walking around the neighborhood looking like some kind of crazy man, and you wonder, but what is this guy problem? The guy is hopeless. He has gotten to the lowest in his life. That's what happening to our people.
But it's scary, Moses, because we can't continue to hold on to this concept and
And
mindset.
and
You know,
and,
you
and
said something. Let me just add it in quick.
yeah,
What you said when somebody takes power or
yeah,
goes to a position is to make improvement. It's the
yes,
same like you and I who write dissertation.
yeah,
You write a dissertation, you got to build upon the theory of somebody else and
yeah.
make it better. And that's the progression. So unfortunately, you don't come and pleasure ride, take somebody's work and you
You just make it yours. Eh?
without putting your own, you know, what you say you want to do. Yeah, you don't come there blaming what they didn't do, but you can perform what you're supposed to be
This
doing.
is supposed to do,
That is
yeah,
what happening in Liberia
yeah, that's
all
true.
day. They making just the other day expecting to make miracle. But
Yeah,
isn't the same man say he
he
was
could make the miracle for
that
us.
he was world best, he was popular,
He
he was
said
doing
he was a miracle maker.
Yeah.
so why is he giving excuses
Why
now?
can he? You know, I agree with you 100%, Volcano.
That's where I can't understand. And then you still got people who accepting this
And
condition.
they justify it,
Yeah.
especially his fanatics. Look
What?
at like your friend Harris that was on the
Oh
show the
yeah,
other
don't,
night.
don't worry about that man.
We talking about people not being paid for money. He said, well, that is not
It's not
a
the
new
first time that
problem.
it
It's an
happened. Yeah,
age-old problem.
it's an HO problem.
Yeah, but I
The
thought the
fact
essence
that,
of yeah,
yep, exactly,
no,
Moses.
yeah, what I
The
was
fact that
saying,
that HO problem still exists.
then you're not supposed to be there,
Yeah.
right? And forget it.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, it's just logical, Moses. Let me
Yeah.
open the line and see if some folks will want to call in and contribute here tonight.
You
I
see?
mean, it's just painful when we go through this kind of behavior. But
Yeah.
tonight, the number to call 404-272-2808. We started to talk about Liberia's infrastructure that's standing in ruins. And Mr. McCready, our guest, came in. We were very happy that he was able to come through, but then unfortunately,
So having
Thomas Awaji says it's raining in Monrovia, so Lone Star right now, and at least both of
oh
them,
man, Thomas, I beg you,
yeah,
man.
so it's raining, so no electricity and
But-
no data. So
yeah,
please call and let's have this conversation. We'll be coming through at 8:30 with the memory lane. We got a good piece here tonight. And also, what type of country is this? Like I said, I was hoping that Moses will come in because it can never be good. My man, don't
with
play it
Vamos.
low. The man, don't play it low. Okay. But okay, Mr. McCready seems to be coming back. I hope he comes in.
Let's see.
All right,
Let's
he's
see.
here. He's here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh
Listen,
my God.
they did not happen here. That what we're talking about. The old lady said she put fiber optic,
Yeah.
fiber optic,
Yeah.
however it's pronounced.
Yeah.
You know,
Farmer updates.
and
Yeah.
so we're still having this problem.
Yeah.
That's look, the thing about it here, you got these things, but people don't know how these things operate and how to maintain these things.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, you're right, you're right. But
That's
but
true.
since you're back here before, so we can continue on the conversation. One other area I'm concerned about is our bridges. The last time I was in Liberia, I made trips and I covered Lofa Bridge, I covered St. Paul Bridge, the bridge there separating at Pole River, the Pole River Bridge. I went to the Farmington Bridge, the St. John Bridge. And I got down literally out of the car, did video shoots of those places, and was looking at the structural integrity of those places. The Farmington Bridge is scaring. Um, and Firestone should be checking that bridge out. But, sir, what in the Shuffling Bridge that is now on the Do River, what is the structural the integrity of those bridges as we speak right now and the danger associated? Please.
Okay.
engineering background.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was another area that concerned me myself when I came back to Liberia. All those bridges you mentioned, they were built in the 60s. Besides Tucker Bridge, okay, and since then, zero maintenance.
Wow.
Bridges have to be maintained regular on a regular basis. Um, when Samuel Kofi Woods was Minister of Public Works, I made a trip to all those the same way you go around and say, let me get down and look around. When I got down and look out and I look under the most people go over the bridge, you don't care to know what's on the out, but if you're an engineer like myself, you are inquisitive, okay, and you want to know what's happening under there. Okay, so the first place I went was the Do River Bridge, just soon as you pass Shuffling.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is that when you approach the bridge, when you get on the approach slab, before you enter onto the carriageway, there's a big hump.
Yeah, that
When you get off the bridge, there's a big hump. So I
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there and find
Yeah.
out what's causing this thing. Come to find out, there's a lot of what we call in engineering scouring. Scouring is when the earth that's under this the wing wall and the buttress wall, when the soil underneath erodes, where the concrete structure is basically just suspended in the water and holding sitting there on its own weight. That is and it's dropping, it's dropping. And
Hmm.
people are not noticing it. All these people, they go across it, they get on a big bump. Nobody stops and wonder why. Okay, send people, engineers over there, find out what's going on there. Those bridges are zero, and that's that Duro Bridge is a steel frame bridge. The whole thing is structural steel. It's even braced by structure. Those things are getting rusted. Every
corrode.
bridge that we got, they got one end is pinned and other one sets on rollers. Now they put the people we design bridges and put them on rollers to give the bridge a chance to be able to move back and forth as traffic goes around up and down the bridge. The rollers underneath that do bridge have corroded to where the iron sits down on the iron. The bridge is not moving at all.
Hmm.
That concerns me. I took picture of it and I sent it to Kofi Woods. Instead of being like the other minister then who calling me names and say they all I meant no too much, Kofi Woods say, y'all go find that McCready man. I need to talk with him.
Hmm.
When I went to his office, he said, look, McCready, I'm not an engineer. I want you to help me with this job I got here any way you can. I said, okay, no problem. I will do this gratis. He gave me one on the public pick up to check every bridge that in around the city. I made an inventory of all the bridges of what was the condition, and I made a report to him what we needed to do. The Tucker Bridge, all the drainage on that bridge, every bridge has a set of drainage that's on the carriageway to allow water to run off the bridge. All the drainage on Tucker Bridge were clogged with sand, dirt, everything. We,
Gunshot shell because of where they were shooting from.
Yeah, look, I was doing a lot of shooting. Yeah.
the bridge on Do River, it has a big hole in it where a mortar
Yeah.
shell has fell in it and bust straight through the bridge. But anyway, Kofi Woods, we started a program what we call the Liberia Bridge Management uh, Association, which was to monitor every bridge in this country. We would have set up a program where it was digitized. You could go online and just get every bridge was assigned a number. You could plug that number out and it tells you the condition of every bridge in this country. We started that program. But when Kofi Wood left, that program just died. The Chinese people who were building the new Vietnam Bridge before they started doing whatever they did over there. When Kofi Woods invited me to one of the technical meetings they usually have every Monday morning. When I got to the meeting, the first question I asked the contractor, I said, look, in this business here, before you remove That time the bridge was still broken down. They hadn't
Yeah,
started.
the old bridge, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
old
I said
bridge. Yeah.
before you start building a new bridge, you have to submit to the client a bridge removal plan, and in that bridge removal plan, you will detail how you plan to move the bridge, how you plan to address the environmental
Hazard.
effect that thing will have on it, how you plan to address the maritime issues that's under there, how would wildlife, fisheries, and those other animals that live in the water, how you going to address that problem there? They pinch this other man, what he need a Mexico, or I think he knew a Mexico or something. He said, I mean, no, he asking too much questions. He might not come back to the meeting again. That's how come that progress stopped right there. And the Chinese people end up building that bridge over there, that Vietnam bridge. And guess what? The drawing that is sent to public works for approval, that bridge is actually about 20 feet shorter than what they were supposed to build. But nobody knows it. Maybe people know it, but they don't want to say it. If you see that bridge, it's like something is crumped. It has a huge arch in the center.
Yeah, like a hump. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a hump in the center there.
And if you have,
And
and that'll cut you off because myself do a little bit of engineering and building and stuff. That means at the foundation point to land, they didn't
yeah,
really expand into the land.
so where you put what they call the abutment, the abutment for the bridge
Yeah,
and the wing wall.
yeah,
That thing should have been almost at where that park is.
yeah. The circle era. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost.
that's where that thing should have been. That where the abutment should have been initially for that bridge.
Mm.
The same thing they did to the Caldwell Bridge. The Caldwell Bridge is shorter than what they have proposed. So that means somebody said the bridge will cost 60 million, but will only use 40 million inside. The other one will just use it to
Point out.
do. That's the only justification I can come to for that bridge not being the actual length that was proposed. Okay, so
Yeah, so yes, two constraints that I have quick before my other colleagues come in. So now the shuffling bridge, what I noticed about that shuffling bridge when I got there and I looked and I went down to the village and came down to the riverfront, I realized that the dredging of the sand by the Chinese right there could be sucking the sand away from the bottom of that bridge, which is now happening at the St. Paul Bridge. And the St. Paul Bridge is a very viable bridge to Liberia. And that is happening around the Unity Conference Center, the Hotel Africa Belt, because they're also dredging that way, taking sand from there. What do you think?
and that was the result of the scouring. That's why that bridge over there is shuffling. That's why scouring took place under that, because the sand was being sucked out of the ocean, because it's like, okay, let's say,
the river.
yeah, let's say the river is 30 feet to the bottom, but you digging out the river bottom, you digging out sand. That means you are adding more volume of water in that river than it was originally designed for by God. So as a result, if you go further up, you will see that place they got Barracuda or somewhere along there, some entertainment, something.
Marine.
If you look on either side, you will see the vegetation that has turned completely black.
Because it's going on the water. Every year.
It's turned completely black because that area is taking, when you put too much water on a plant or flower, it can end up dying. Okay,
Yeah.
that was happening to that area there in the Do River area. They are taking too much sand, and that means a lot more water is coming into the riverbed. Same thing happened in St. Paul Bridge. Same thing happened all over. And at St. Paul Bridge, if you're going towards Broadville, if you look to your left, there's another bridge there that was built also in the 60s. We used to call it Double Bridge. Double Bridge is at that time where the train hauling iron ore from Mano River and Bummy Hills used to use the same bridge to go to Freeport.
Yeah.
So when the train is coming, the car will stop and the train passes and the car continues. That when President Toba said, no, we can't have this. We got to have another bridge that will supplement this old bridge. So that when they built the new St. Paul Bridge in 79, 80, somewhere 70, 77, 78, 79, 80, in that period of time there. When the new St. Paul Bridge was built, guess what happened to the old one? It was completely abandoned. A very strong, durable bridge just sitting down idle, people walking up and down. Why somebody can't think, say, okay, the traffic congestion between Broadville and Douala is too congested. Everybody know what Douala traffic looks like. Let's open up this bridge to traffic so we can have two means of coming into the city. We don't have to build a bridge anymore. The bridge is already there. All we got to do, clear the opening. Boop, they built Douala Market. Boop, everybody started building up to the edge of the road. How can this, how can you have people just building everywhere they want to, selling at the marketeers, the Yana boy, the wheelbarrow people, the Kenken, the Pepe boy, whatever they call them. The people are forced to walk in the middle of the road.
My man.
So, Mr. McCready?
McCready.
Yeah, Mr. McCready. Let me ask you this question. As an engineer, when you see all these things happening in Liberia,
it was frustrating.
Nobody is paying attention to the issue of safety, the safety of the people. As an engineer, as a Liberian, does that really bother you?
Oh yeah,
it bothers me a lot. And what makes it worse is that I can't do nothing about it. You say anything about it, the people start hating on you. You become public enemy. My friend, when I used to be very vocal about these things, these issues, most of my buddies used to tell me, say, my man, leave the people thing alone. You're creating enemy for yourself. The people want this thing just like it is. Leave it alone. Look at, for example, lately what happened with the Rouse Free Highway.
Yeah.
The contractor were over there doing complete messing up the place. And I went out and as a Liberian and as a concerned citizen, I went on Front Page Africa, and I tried to warn the Liberian people of how bad this road is, and they should be very careful. The Minister of Public Works go there and say, "Oh, that man, you don't listen to him. He's nothing but a mere plumber. He don't know what he's talking about." Lo and behold, see the kind of accident that happened over there the other day.
Wait, hold on, Papi, hold on. That the woman who could not even.
When she appeared before the Senate and she
when she appeared before the Senate, she said the same thing. So a friend of mine called me. A friend of mine jokingly said to one of her deputies there, but any man that mere plumber and he know all these things about this who the correct engineer, why he not know it? Then maybe you should go to that plumbing school.
The man is a plumber.
And the woman, she doesn't even know me. If she saw me walking on the street, she will not know that I'm a credit passing there. And she tells the people she knows me very well.
And she calls you a plumber.
She called me a plumber. So I said, okay. And what she doesn't realize is that my father was a plumber. The bathroom she using at Ministry of Public Works at her office, that my father did the plumbing there.
Okay.
Wow.
Unmail headquarters here, where the headquarters where unmail people using. That whole building, the plumbing system, they were done by my father. But nobody knows this. You see, that's when Liberian engineers and technicians were being empowered by the government. You get these individuals, and you see when you do it like that, they used to say, "Oh, Liberian at that time, only certain people." No. They had a middle-class economy here in Liberia during those period of time. How do you generate middle-class income in this country? For example, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Temple of Justice, Capitol Building, all these ministries has to be maintained and cleaned after the people use it. Okay, call Mr. John Brown, say, okay, John Brown, you organize a maintenance company that will be responsible for the maintenance of Capitol Building.
That's true.
That's your company there. That one man from his company, he come and employ maybe 500 people under him to do the maintenance there. They're not working for government though.
Yeah.
They're not working for government, they're working for a company, a Liberian company. You take Peter Paul, okay.
And that job creation right there.
You do the maintenance contract. Your owner contract is to maintain this building, the plumbing, electrical, the grass cutting, or the cleaning, or this. All are your prerogative.
That's
Mr.
it.
He
McCready,
do come and employ another 500 people behind him. 10,000 people will be gainfully employed in no time at all.
Sure.
Mr.
All the
McCready,
buildings sitting now, just look at the foreign ministry now. How dingy looking. Look at the new
Yes.
ministerial complex now. See how dirty it has becoming. Nobody is thinking about maintaining. These things will not maintain themselves.
Mr. McCready,
People
quick
have to
question here.
maintain it.
Quick
And
question here.
somebody has to be far-sighted enough to see that this building has to be maintained, and you have to get your people to be able to clean those things and take care of them.
Quick question, Mr.
And in
McCready.
doing so, you are creating a middle-class economy.
That's true.
Mr. McCready, quick question here for you. I'm concerned about the Ducal Intercontinental Hotel. I'm concerned about the frames of Hotel Africa. I'm concerned about EJ Roy. Those buildings were built back then when we really had cement, not the thing they have today. We have real steel rod, not the thing they have today. Do you think those buildings in their current state can be rehabilitated and brought back to its pre-destruction days without
Well, let's start with it with Ducal.
yeah, I'm concerned.
Ducal can safely be rehabilitated because it's not structurally damaged as compared to the other building.
Okay.
So I think there was a company
From
from
Libya.
Libya. They undertook the project to rehabilitate or refurbish the Ducal Hotel. But after Gaddafi died, that went through the loops. But the building is still structurally sound, and it's going to take some doing. It's going to be very expensive to restore the Ducal, but it can be done because the structural integrity of that building is still intact.
But let's do the cost benefit analysis. Will it cost less to refurbish it, or will it cost more to refurbish it?
It will cost more to refurbish it because imagine the electrical conduits that were used at that time were all galvanized pipe.
Yeah,
But now they have all rotted out.
yeah. We gotta
The
go to
sewer line, the sewer lines, the this, the that. The only thing that's there is the structure itself, the concrete structure.
yeah.
Okay, but everything else has to be retrofitted and refurbished. That's why it will cost so much because everything you got to do if you want to do any refurbishing at Ducal now, you have to do what we call surface wiring. And when you do the surface wiring, that means you're mounting all those conduits directly on the wall.
Well,
And
yeah.
when you do that, then you have to put furring strips there to be able to camouflage them so you won't be able to see those pipes on the wall. That way you put what they call a sandwich wall. You can
Speaking
do
a language,
it can
my
be
man.
done, but it's a very, very expensive process. Unlike the EJ building, that the EJ building has been shelled with mortar and all the things. So when it happens like that, when a mortar hits a building like that, it does something. The vibration, it does something to the building. It goes all the way down to the foundation.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure about refurbishing EJ.
Says
The tower can be demolished, and the rest of the building can be built around. And you build a new tower over it. You
Yeah.
maintain the ground floor and the basement and all of that. They can be salvaged, but the tower itself has to be redone, and it has to be redone through steel framing. You can't do concrete there because the condition of the building. You have to plant concrete. I mean steel columns, steel beams, and those got other type of structural members. Hotel Africa, it has to be completely gutted. I mean, demolished and start all over. It's a shame because I mean it has gone so much time has passed. It's right there by the sea. The element it had been exposed to elements, so there's no feasible way to restore it. You know, so the only way that I mean, what I'm thinking, the only thing that can be done to it is that if somebody could find the original drawings that was made for that particular hotel and try to replicate it, yes, He started, knocked everything down and reproduced the same building based on the original drawings. Those drawings were, the last time I saw them were in the library at Milton Richards before they closed. When they closed, when Milton Richards folded, a lot of people went in and out of that building there where they were hauling drawings, they were hauling this and hauling that. They just made away with valuable information that could be used by the government because most of them were government buildings. The last time I saw, the drawings for Hotel Africa were in one of the local architects' office. So I asked the guy, I said, but what are these drawings doing here? These are drawings that are supposed to be in the government possession. He said, my man, don't worry about that thing. Somebody brought that thing to me. I said, no, this is somebody's intellectual property. You cannot do anything with it. But this is Liberia now. People do whatever they want to do and they don't worry about liability, those kind of things.
All right, let's try to push him 2 more questions so we can take leave of him, gentlemen. But quickly, sir, one of our avid viewers says here, and he's a guy of history too. Emmanuel Jackson is asking if you know anything about the original financing company of the Ducor that was in Baltimore, Maryland. Accordingly, the group that financed the Ducor project was a company in Baltimore, Maryland. Do you have any idea?
The Ducor was actually owned and financed by Intercontinental Hotels.
Okay.
They had the offices in the U.S. and that's how come they got this American architect Neil Prince to design that building there for the Ducor.
Okay.
So the Intercontinental Hotels is a chain of hotels that has hotels all over the world. They actually own the Ducor. Now the Ducor, when Tottenham made arrangement for Intercontinental Hotel to build that exorbitant hotel over there, the government had to provide the land for it. And the ideal land that was for that place there was owned by the Methodist Church. Because President J.J. Robert, he willed all his property to the Methodist Church. So and President Tubman was a Methodist, that's how come that site was chosen. So the condition was when they built the Ducor there, they have to build a monument in honor of J.J. Robert. That's why when people go up there, they see J.J. Robert monument there. They don't know how it got there or why they put J.J. Robert monument there instead of anybody else. But the land is actually owned by the J.J. Robert Foundation. I think it's still here, or I don't know the status of it, but the Methodist Church actually owned that piece of land over there. But misinformation got around, it's owned by government. It's not owned by government.
Thank you. Alfonso.
I will defer to Moses for now. I asked us that because he just coming. So Moses, take an opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Alfonso. Mr. McCready, help us understand the relationship between the Liberian government and Liberian civil engineers, somebody like you. Is the government really utilizing you people's skills, or they just look the other way and deal with foreigners?
No, the thing is, from what I've observed, the past 2 administrations,
Yes.
that's like, Doe tried to reach out to Liberian technical people and Liberian engineers. He tried his best, but it was too late. But the subsequent administration, Taylor or Ellen, the current one, they have not actually reached out to the Engineering Society of Liberia or the Liberian Institute of Architects. They have not reached out. There was a time somewhere during Ellen administration, they said something about relocating the capital to somewhere in Banga or wherever they wanted to.
It's called the area is called Zagipie. It was influence of Zigipa and something.
But here's the irony of the whole thing. Before you even contemplate on doing something like that on a monumental scale like that, the first group of people you consult with is your engineers.
That's
And your
true.
architect, okay, you do a feasibility study, like what happened in Abuja. People, they didn't wake up one day and say, let's go to Abuja for capital. They no. They consult with the engineering society and the architectural society. They say, okay, you put your head together, you do a feasibility study. Where would be the best area we can relocate a city to? But it just jump on and said, okay, you send it to wherever you name Jeddah. There's no access to an airport. There's no access to a seaport. There's no good road, up to date road leading to that place. How you would just
how you move
move
capital
capital
city?
city?
Yeah,
The
how do
capital
you make a
city,
black capital city? Yeah,
there are no infrastructure there to support a capital city.
that's true.
Why you will carry the Ministry of Planning? Why you will carry Ministry of this? They will still be in Monrovia operating, and then the capital inside that place. No.
That's inside of it.
I mean, I do,
I mean,
The
it
best.
sounds, to we the professional, it sounds very funny, but to the politician, it's something they say, yeah, now people,
Yeah,
let's go.
yeah, it doesn't add up. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
add up.
absolutely.
And why they would not reach out to professionals, I really don't know. They got this thing going on there where they got there is more like a clique, and the old people say clique and the clack. You know that one. I dare, I'm a friend. I went home, my friend, bring him there. And you see what I'm saying? If you're not my friend, I don't know you. Don't come around me.
Okay.
The high is the high is going out, and
Yeah.
in the end,
Are you
it's bad
currently
for the country.
are you
It's bad
currently
for the
working in
country. You
Liberia?
have to have people there who thinks number one about the country and where the country is going in the next 50 years. Every country, every city in the other in the developed world, they have 100-year plan. They have a 50-year plan. They have plans for the next 5, 6 generations ahead. You go to Kigali, they show you picture of the 50-year plan. You go to Kenya, in Nairobi, they developed plans for Nairobi in 2050. Come to Liberia. What the plan for Liberia? 1847.
I say, are
Uh,
you working right now? Are you working in the country?
Do
Pardon
you
me?
work?
Are
Do you
you
work?
yeah?
are
Are
you
you
working in Liberia?
Yeah, I'm doing a sub. I'm an architect and I do freelance work in Liberia right now. I just put up a office building down on 9th Street not too long ago,
how
and I'm
many
getting
story?
ready to go back. I'm
How
getting
many
ready to go back to Ghana.
how many story? The one
It, it actually is. We're going to build actually five stories, but we got 2 completed already.
you're
You
putting
know, we have to build.
you're putting elevator because there's other thing you're doing over there. Not you particularly, but because they don't have the kind of electricity Moses and Alfonso, so they're building these buildings. They can't put elevator dock in there.
And then you have to walk. You have to walk the set.
Every building that I do or I will put my hands in. If it's more than 2 floors, we will put an elevator there, or else I won't be part of it.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So I mean, they got a thing here. They say the reason why you don't have a lot of tall buildings in Liberia, they go up to maybe 7, 8 floors, because they got this kind of grandfather clause that if the building is less than 5 floors, you don't need elevator. So you got 1,000 short building all over the place because nobody wants to spend the money to buy to
Yeah,
install
all right.
elevator. So they only go 5 floors because that's what the grandfather law say 5 floors. So you don't need to put elevator. But it's supposed to be mandated if you go anything above 2 floors or above 1 floor, you must put an
Yeah,
elevator there.
elevator,
It
yeah.
must be handicap accessible.
That's true.
Because you know you can't. I remember I did a building in Atlanta, Georgia, when I donated for the client told me
Mhm.
while I was installing the handicap ramp to the stage. You know that's the code. You have to put a handicap ramp for somebody. He said, "My man, why are you putting the handicap ramp on the stage? I'm not handicapped. Nobody is handicapped. Who need that?" I said, "That's a code." 6 months later, he had a stroke. He had to be in the hand. I said, You see why the people? 6 months later, he had a stroke.
So the same thing you are kicking
The
against
thing I
has
was
come
trying
to
to
haunt
build,
you.
how much you build it. You know, and see when you go to engineering school and architecture school like that, they teach you to design for the worst case scenario.
That's true.
Anything you design, if somebody said design me a 4-floor building, You must make sure that foundation is strong enough to hold 8 floors, because you never know when the owner will say, I want to put 5 floor more on top of it. Or if you, even if you do a house with a balcony on the outside or a porch, you must, if people got 10 people in the family, you must design that porch in such a way that maybe 100 people can fit there. Because you never know what day that man will go have party and a whole lot of people show up to about everybody on the porch. Group the porch not for them. I think we read in America and I hear a story
Yeah,
about
yeah,
people
yeah.
put.
We have
Oh
seen
yeah,
that.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have seen
I
that.
know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, I know of a situation. I did when I was doing my graduate study, and one of the courses I did was public works administration. The higher in Kansas City, Missouri. It was an engineering disaster that took place. It was one of the projects that I did. The Hayek Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri fell. The
Yeah.
the, the, the breach in there killed a lot of people. So yes,
Yeah.
things are right. But
Yeah.
listen, we
Mr.
want to
Oh,
thank you
sorry.
so much. We want
I
to
was
thank
Yeah.
you
going
so
to.
much.
No.
Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry, guys.
we got time.
Yeah.
It's
Let me.
Time.
Yeah. Let me get asking this question. Yeah. Let me help clarify this. Mr. Mr. McCready.
Yeah.
Uh, there's this report out there that when you guys are bidding for projects in Liberia, and the senior government officials, there's this common thing that people have to give a kickback as high as 10%. How credible is that?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, I for one, I personally stay away from government contracts. I don't get involved in government, because the thing about those contracts, when you get in those government contracts, it's too many red tapes, number one, and too
Yeah.
many people you have to satisfy, and sometimes it forces you
When,
to make
when you say too many
consequence.
people to
Almost
satisfy,
you
what
know
are
the
you
thing
talking
about
about?
hair, man.
When
No,
you
I
say
mean,
too many people
it
to
forces
satisfy.
you to make decisions that are unprofessional at times. So I
Okay.
just stay away from them.
Okay.
I stay in the private sector. I'm doing very well in the private sector. I don't even bother myself with government jobs.
Okay.
My personal experience with it was not the first time I came back to Liberia. I had one job from I had a project to do for the government, which was to do the outdoor market, Nancy Do outdoor market, and I
Yeah.
got it through ministry agenda. At
Mm.
the time when I got the contract, the first payment we made, the guy who processed the check tells me that I'm getting $7,000, and I said, for what? You know, I said, for what? I will not
For
do it. He
what?
said, well, if you do it, then we'll not get you the contract. So, I mean, I literally, because I was just starting, I wanted to, get
Yeah.
something on the ground. And
Yeah.
President Bill Clinton was coming to Liberia at the time to visit the thing. So I said, okay, let me bite the bullet and did it.
Yeah.
So the next time I told you I wasn't going to do it, because if you get shot, you cannot call his name. You cannot say, "Oh, the money I gave me, I guess it's so and so to." You can't do that. You got to take the whole. You got
You
to take
can't
the
do
hit.
that.
Yeah.
You got to be the fall guy. So to avoid all of that, I stay away from government projects.
Okay. Wow.
Listen, my credit. We'll bring you back here.
A sad
Thank you so
situation.
much for this opportunity. We got a lot more
Okay.
to talk about. So with at some point, probably next month, I'll find time to catch up with you so we can bring
Okay,
you,
no problem.
because I
Yeah.
know you got a lot of wealth of experience and a lot of history, because we haven't even gone
I
into other
know.
components of the conversation. We wanted to talk.
The thing is too much to discuss in one sitting. It's too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
That's true.
So we'll bring you back. Thank you
Okay,
so
no
much.
problem. Look forward to talk to being back on the show.
But
Yeah.
if you want to hang
Thank
out,
you so much.
if you want to hang out,
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll come
Thank you,
in.
Mr.
Okay.
McCready.
Yeah, if you want to hang
All
out,
right. Thank you
we have,
guys. Have a good night.
oh no, I'm asking you if you want to hang out with us. We have a segment called "What Type of Country Is This?" and
Okay.
we want you to hang out with us so
And so you can contribute.
you can contribute. Okay,
Okay, I will do that, but it won't be tonight.
okay, all right.
Okay.
That's
I have
fine.
an early morning. I have an early appointment tomorrow. I got 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But then we can
We'll
let
not
you go.
forget.
Yeah.
We'll not forget. I
Yeah.
tell you right here, America.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. It
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
was a
Okay,
pleasure.
yeah.
All right. Bye bye.
Mhm.
So, gentlemen, we already almost gone. Our Papa said got enough history to give
Oh,
us.
yeah. He has a
Bring him
lot.
back.
Yeah,
But
the
let's
light.
quickly go to memory lane and then hit the whatever country so we can wrap it up because it's 8:50 already. Okay.
Volcano, yeah, please, man. Let me just break this story yet. Since I wasn't here for the public to know, I can pronounce tonight that on Friday of next week, which will be April 28th, the former Vice President Joseph Boakai will name his running mate. His running mate will come from Nim McCartney.
Hmm.
It is expected that that person will be Senator Nima County Senator Jeremiah Kuhn of the Movement for Democracy. That's the Prince Johnson
MDR
movement.
or some
Yeah,
MD,
MDR. Yeah, is the how you call it?
leave it, my man. MDR.
Yeah, the MDR. Headed by Senator Prince Johnson. The Movement for Democratic Reconstruction, headed by Senator Johnson. In fact, the senator himself broke the story today, saying that he will be at that program. And guess what? He said Mr. Weah will be a one-term president.
Hmm.
Yeah,
We'll come to
that's the
it. We'll
story.
come to it. We'll come
Yeah.
to the segment. Well, listen, let's go to memory lane, folks. Welcome to the Issues Room 147th edition. We're discussing the dilapidation of our national iconic infrastructure in the country, where they are in total ruin, and who's responsible, what responsible. Mr. McCready was here to share that with us. So we'll be bringing him at some point to continue in that lane. I thought it was great conversation. But tonight, Dr. Mane Sumo wanted to give us an excerpt from his book titled Pain in Exile. So he said, this is what happened to me as a Liberian living in Liberia. I was born in Bewilly, aka Willistown in Bombing County, Liberia. In my hometown, there were no schools or clinics or churches or mosque. No electricity, no pipe water, yet we were happy and optimistic to one day live in Monrovia. Along the way, I learned that there were rather a lot of, uh, if not majority of the dishonest people in Liberia. The who knows you, tribalism, injustice, in general, corruption. I immediately learned as a kid growing up that we had to change this or the country will perish. But the few honest people cannot change Liberia. Everything is wrong in Liberia. The director won't give you contract except you pay upfront. The HR won't employ you unless you bribe or come from the same tribe or relation. The banks won't give you loan except you concede a certain percentage. The man supervising you or the contract rather won't pass the job except you play ball. The clerk won't pass your file for payment except you rub his palm to rub your palm or grease his
Yeah,
palm.
yeah, you gotta drop some there.
The accounts department won't raise your payment voucher or check unless you see them. I can go on and on. Yet I hear them say, sweet Liberia. Sweet Liberia.
Liberia.
So what's so sweet about Liberia? Is it the corruption, the poverty, the injustice? What is sweet now? You tell me. What is so sweet? The worst thing is that it has become a norm that anybody sees, I rather that nobody sees anything wrong with it. A total norm. Nobody sees anything wrong with it. When your own man is in position and he is stealing, you call him he's smart.
Yeah, mera smart man.
If you think otherwise, they begin to think you are sick and not normal. That is, if you question what the man doing, the man say you sick, but he
Yeah,
praising you, say he's smart, right? If you
yeah,
try to stand in their way, you put your life at risk. You disappear, and you will be like Harry Greaves.
yeah.
This is the situation that led many of us in exile. If you get killed, there's no justice system in the place to seek redress and bring the perpetrators to book. A typical Liberian can be seen praising corruption when his party is in power. What a shame. They say, I'm in, I am in, rather go on. He's to go on. No, no, he is to go on. And on we go. So it's on they go. You all remember the episode go. And
Yeah,
so
that the answer book, right?
police is corrupt. The judge in court is worst. Going to court is like taking the small role complaint to the big role. Nobody cares about anybody. No law and order. I looked from left to right. Everybody is only desperate about one thing: money. They'll kill anybody and anything that stand between their money and power. I decided to become an electrical engineer. That's Dr. Mane. So I could be easily marketable and serve my people. But I was never privileged to be hired, not even as a helper or a day boy. You remember day boy, right?
Yeah.
I roamed the streets of Monrovia daily with my credentials, but nobody knew my name. I did not come from the tribe or class. I remained jobless like a stray dog. The system didn't care about my qualification. When I became a parent, I started to ask myself, how do I convince my child and my kids in general that education and hard work are rewarding? When fools and thoughts are running our country, I think he meant thoughts,
Yeah, talks. Yeah.
thoughts are running our country from the legislative branch to the presidency. When you could barely finish high school with a diploma, just become president, the Liberian universities then gave you free PhD. Dr. Mane,
Yeah.
Dr. Wia. Don't put yourself in harm's way for any reason. The problem of Liberia is in the hands of Liberians living in Liberia and also we who are in the diaspora. Only we can fix it when we choose civility, honesty, love, and compassion. And I want to add patriotism. Try starting a village house in your village. Everybody wants to profit from it. If you're not lucky, they will send another person's house picture to be yours. They are corrupt, morally bankrupt, and selfish. Everybody there thinks about himself, and nobody is thinking about anybody, you or the country. You don't have to be the one to go to there to change anything when your mindset is not changed. We need a revolution against our common enemy, corruption. I come in peace, Moses. That's how he closes.
Excellent piece. What you just read is a graphic representation of today's Liberia. Everything that I made mention of, they are happening everywhere you go. You send money back home to your brother, now build a house. If you're not fortunate, they may will send you Alphonso's house that has already been constructed. You will send you pictures. He said, come home. The house is ready. You get there. Your mom and the rest of the family people, they assemble to say that your late brother let it go. Many people have had this kind of a situation.
Exactly.
All right, guys, it's time for what type of country is this? I don't know how long we'll be here, but it's about 9 o'clock. We could probably do 50 minutes of it. So let's move
I'll
in.
probably go over 9 a little bit and then leave. I had to pick up my daughter. She just
No,
texted me. Yeah.
even know where to start from. But
Let me
Wasn't ready.
yeah, you ready?
I read it, man.
All right, go ahead, start.
What type of country? What type of country is it? When the people finish campaigning, they finish spending all their money, and the old man come and break their neck on Friday.
Oh God, make it dog.
Man,
The man flew from America, he went to Labrador. He moved along on the beginning. The papa said, I'm coming for you.
No press conference. Oh,
Press conference. I will break your neck.
the Bible
Yeah.
say, the Bible say, you remember that time when you were calling me PP Pat? I just be president and now you know me.
Yeah. Your cousin say, he said, what? You used to call it what? The dead living what? The dead living dead?
The
the
walking
walking
dead.
dead.
Yeah, the walking dead.
That man walking.
So the professor are coming. He said, oh, that Henry? He said, okay, you need a labor.
He want my job. It's the same way open when I charged a job, the hiring Costa want my job. So the man wants to sit right underneath me. Yeah?
He said, lead that man. He said, I will be in Monrovia. The professor, he ain't come.
If I said I went to visit a man in Delaware, he put me in a basement. I watched him TV, they got beer bottle all around me. They go put my picture up there.
Yeah, I don't want for me. I don't want for me. Volcano, the bomb said the public coming drop.
But what happened to our girl to now from Volcano? I scared for her. Me, I call it no new.
Rescue too.
Now your girl.
That was sister, yeah. Yeah, our sister, man. But hey, whatever the situation is this is about the good of Liberia. I think we should see it from that perspective.
But let also torso now. So
Yeah,
Prince George Jeffrey now he's a kingmaker, eh?
of course.
So the man still trying to run from the TRC report. The man still trying, but you know what? Moses, I will hope Omen Bwaka to a him on the show. We got it in data.
Oh yeah, the pavilion. Yeah.
He will implement the TRC, so help him God. So if that Prince Johnson looking for escape route, and he not put Jeremiah Kuhn in the picture, and we're coming for him. No matter how long it takes, we'll come for him.
I know how Jeremiah Kuhn would do that in the public. Your vice president is make out a PO.
You just gotta go bring that man.
Say what type of country they say, Papa, that you put me here, but I'm sorry. I ain't get power, you gotta go.
That's why the Liberian people say that's what the American government say.
Yeah. You gotta go. I ain't get power. I can't stop it, the American people.
Yeah.
Shaggy McAfee, what type of country it is that all the top government officials can get paid on time, but the people who are doing the work, literally doing the work, making paid less, can't even get paid for 3 months.
Yeah.
It didn't even pay the people much, but it's still getting paid.
But are these guys, Volcano, are these guys even thinking they're not paying employees are unable to feed their family and will go into election and they think those people will forget about it?
Yeah. But then again, Alphonso, I was thinking to myself as I drove, and usually when I'm leaving work and prepping my mind for the show, because I go in that zone, and I'm telling you, my brother, it is sad that the real people who's supposed to be voting are so frustrated, and I'm sure a lot of them didn't register.
Yeah.
And this election, I don't know how it's gonna play off.
Mm-hmm.
Or play out. I don't
Mhm.
know
Mm-hmm.
because the whole process, how can Liberia be sweet when the whole process of prepping for our elections, our national census, everything is marred by missteps,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
by issues that are not just ordinary issues.
Yeah.
They're not those little things.
Mhm.
No. Big things.
These are mammoth issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how do we get a credible election? So it doesn't matter yet, even if Jeremiah couldn't bring the whole of Nima County. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah. Is the point you struck, Volcano, is very important, right? Uh, when Mr. Weah won the presidency in 2017, at that time Liberia's population was uh less than 4 million people.
No, no, we're almost four, right? Or I
Okay.
mean, a little over four.
Okay.
Yeah,
So their own projection now, the government own projection has put the population a little over 5 million.
yeah.
Okay, you put the population a little over 5 million.
But you still got less people voting, right?
Yeah, you got less people in fact who have registered. When Ellen
Yeah.
Johnson Sirleaf then did it in 2017, they took 3 months to register the people. But this administration, just in Montserrado County, in fact, not Montserrado,
Six counties.
the 6 counties that went through
Mm-hmm.
the process, right? They gave them 3 weeks. Three
Yep.
weeks.
Yep.
And even with that, majority of the people did not register. So now
That's
you tell me,
that,
Volcano,
that's
it
the
means
fear.
that majority of the people will not participate.
So of
That's
the
the fear.
six counties, including Montserrado, the
Yeah,
total registered voters, as per the Election Commission own
Yeah,
figures,
yeah.
is 1,435,209.
So now you tell me that,
So including Montserrado.
including Montserrado,
Yeah.
preposterous.
Yeah.
a very populated county,
Yeah.
Doesn't make
including
sense.
Montserrado. You
Now,
register less than 2 million people. Now
yeah.
you go to Grand Cru, you go to Grand Gita, you go to Maryland. Those places, because people are migrating,
Yeah.
from rural
Mhm.
Liberia to Montserrado and other places. All of those areas are underpopulated.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Let me go back quick. What type of country is this, Tamawaji, where people are still making $45 a month?
Oh yeah,
$45 a month. What
yeah,
type of and but the $45 not just coming from the private sector where I say, oh my man, or you my girl
yeah,
can be,
yeah,
taking
yeah,
care,
yeah,
and she washing my clothes or something. But this is government salary. And then
Mhm.
the president pretended like he didn't know when he harmonized things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after they took all the money and put it in their pockets. What type of country is this? Shaggy McAfee hashtag that another country can have a war crime court and put Charles Taylor in jail, but Prince Johnson is walking around free like he's untouchable.
Yeah.
And
What type
calling
of
it
country is
national.
this?
What
Culture
type
of impunity.
Yeah. Yep.
What type of country is this? There people work, spend all their years in public service. When they retire, they can get pension benefit. What type
Yep.
of country is this?
Yep. What type of country is this that people pay into social security? Pay into social security. We have the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. But when
Yeah.
they get old, they cannot get social security
Security
benefits.
benefit. What type of country is
What
this?
type of country is this, Ram Snotton? When voting time come, some stand-up bearers wouldn't reach the ballot because the one-way traffic would be so tense and everywhere would be blocked. And that's true because I don't know if the road would be ready.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the videos of the ELW Junction era? How they destroy that era?
No, I haven't seen
Oh
it.
yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of serious. The whole place is in.
So it's like serious traffic jam. Oh,
Oh yeah, I don't even know where to put the bypasses to get to town.
wow.
My thought is that they're using the police academy to cut around the SKD Boulevard to come back to SKD Junction.
Hmm.
Using behind the sports complex, there's that road from the old ADP, if you remember, GSA,
Yeah.
the motor pool. There's a road that come
And
coming
connect.
They call that area rock something, rock town or something. Then it comes and back to sports complex on the
Yeah.
side there. So that's a way. Or you use the Dubo roadside and come all the way to rehab and then hit the there'll be a highway to come back to Pellet Town and connect
Mm.
Congo Town back road to be able to cross that section. That would be my thought, or they use the red light by way of Freeport to get to town. But it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Absolutely unfortunate. Let's go to Emmanuel Jackson. Yeah, he says, what type of country is this? A senior senator or lawmaker described a presidential candidate as rescue number one. And
Yeah.
the president doesn't have a political prisoner, but he's a killer of politicians.
Yes.
What type of country is
Country is this?
what type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where public urination is common?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Malay fence on GSA Road, the people everywhere they
They
go.
build bathroom, eh?
Oh yeah, because they now go put drinking spot right next to it. So
Oh damn, my man! Everybody, you're urinating on your face, my man. Can you imagine, my man?
and
And
Malay,
that's when all those rare ends, right, can start coming. Yeah, too much alcohol again. Yeah.
Ram Snowden, what type of country is this? Coming, some of them will be stuck in the mud. They will have to do Tottenham style where they use the toad him around. So the man saying that the politician and some of them will not be able to get to the voting pool, right?
They will stay on the highway.
No. So they will ask people to throw them like in a hammer.
Carry there.
Carry them to vote.
Oh my God.
What type of country is this, Shaggy McAfee, that has no consequences, where people can kill others, steal, lie, be corrupt, and there are no law and order in place?
Yeah.
How will people ever stop the negative ways? Every country has a court system, and no one is above the law. In Liberia, people are above the law. What type of country is
Country is this?
What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where you have over 50 slum communities right in the capital city?
Yeah.
What type of country is this that government invests millions of dollars in building public public offices, but the government has no maintenance plan.
Plan in place.
No maintenance plan in place. You put up a mansion. You do not have janitorial team to maintain the mansion. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this where the locals die after 3 days, they forget you. The official die after 9 days, they forget you.
What type of country is this?
Raymond Clark, what type of country is this? Presidential candidates refusing to announce their running mate as if they are coming from different planets.
What type of country is there? Everybody's waiting for the other person to make a
yeah,
mistake.
exactly. So
And
after
then they can
Boakai,
capitalize on that.
yeah, after Boakai, maybe we will hear from Cummings.
after Baka, they will
Cummings.
we have from Cummings, oh.
So you think a man would try to go on Cummings Sana, our man, you know who I'm talking about. But
Man,
what type of country is this? The talk show host leave a whole podcast, he leave it with he go like with the hope that he will be chosen as the vice president.
yeah, but man, who knows? Cummings could say, my man, come and ride with me.
On the commentary. Yeah? What type of country is this that has no hospital in place for Henry Costa? Because next Friday when JMB needs his vice president, Costa will need help on to be on trips.
No emergency plan. What? There, Friday. Some people will not sleep Friday night.
Me, I will sleep. Oh. I will sleep.
What type of country is this? After making all your investment, my man. You now mobilize the people from one country to another.
That is also now.
They say, oh, Omer Baka went to
Okay.
my village today. He said, I will pay for all the food.
but Moses, oh,
Yeah.
the man will downgrade now. Man,
Natala my kid hungry.
the man coming to downgrade, coming to run for senator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And if that doesn't work, he will run for a representative.
But you know the good thing about it? Henry Costa did not abandon his desire for the of senatorial seat. So let's give you an applause for that. He said, look, I don't have to be far president. Y'all give him a senatorial seat, I would take it. Damn.
But I hope he's doing what he has to do to be valid on the ballot. Because
he has to
was depending on the
register.
vice presidency and the woman change their mind and go somewhere else, and he in trouble.
I don't know whether they got deadline for them to register.
That's what I'm saying. And you know, we are government will do everything to keep him out.
Of course, to block it, yeah.
Oh yeah. So he put his egg in bucket basket.
Eating that small money, sir, Joseph spending in that time. What type of country is it when the senator for the number one candidate in the country has become a road construction engineer?
Very university, an ambulance driver.
Ambulance driver.
Political projects.
Yeah, all the political projects, my man.
They're not even sound. Yeah.
Yeah, the mayor has taken over the work of the Minister of Public Works.
Exactly.
Damn, this would be a big blow, my man. If the guy
The projects are not vetted, no feasibility study, no go engineer for because I put it the just print machine and just put something and say we'll be road or we'll be something.
Yeah. But in fact, we're talking about road construction, right? What type of country is this that Nathaniel Magay, all the projects that he started?
The other project stuff, eh?
The man downgraded. We have not heard anything about the project.
Do they still have the soldiers guarding him, man, grave?
But we don't mean
The man,
Yeah.
forget it.
they just hear about the video that I mean the recording that is on social media. They claim that he the one begging for money.
Oh, really?
Oh, let me find it quick.
My man, Nathaniel Magay, the man was in Magibi breaking ground for road construction, my man, but everything have come to a standstill.
But the money finished, my man. I tell you.
The man downgraded from senatorial aspirant to representative. What? Magay. Hey, Pokemon.
But the pocket pound, the quills of the pocket pound, it finished.
Hey, Magay, the de facto
they were
president.
plucked out. Yeah.
Nathaniel Magay, the de facto president, my man. The man has faded.
The man shrunk.
The man gave it from public.
Here's the stuff. Y'all listen to it, okay?
Yeah.
And y'all can make your judgment. People are saying that's not him, but listen to it.
Here, my brother, I want you to do me a favor. That's the main thing I try to call you for. And I want you to give me some assistance in some other way this afternoon. You know that stuff I'm building, the youth center I'm building down Marshall. After class, it's a serious process now. It's serious right now. And I need to dedicate it sooner. And now your brother him go down a little bit on this voter registration and now going around, my man. So area, I want you to help me. I want you to help my team right now. So I'm gonna lay small money, maybe 300, so that the children can go and finish off that place and do the layoff. The layoff, because they gotta pay the people that are doing the layoff. I think that the pay business right there. So I'm asking you to help me. If you receive my text and you let me know. If there's no way, just text me quickly. I beg you, my brother. Yeah, do it for your brother. Do it for Falou. I beg you. Please.
But you don't forget her.
What?
I can tell you that's not followed. That someone imitated him.
Why you say so, Moses?
Because I have listened to him speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have listened.
I,
Ain't no Volcano.
yeah, I didn't think I follow.
Yeah, that's not follow, but you know that
Follow
part of
say
the
got
politics, man. Look,
follow
I'm trying to demean.
stay
You
got
know?
my follow stay got my
But right now, the man
follow
holding time, my man.
follow
You
my
know,
along.
you
Follow my
remember when he wanted to go to Banga and his wife came, he said, "Oh, you know, the people, the chief there." Then he said, "But you part I think about you." Oh." Every day he can say the church people, they pay, and the other people, the chief there, who need to keep some money.
You get you all the money on the campaign deal.
You
And
know, we got children. Oh.
But the man money might be long, but maybe in certain places he can't
Yeah, but
touch it
better make
too.
that to
yeah,
control the
you
thing,
can
bro.
get
No, but he can't touch it now. And the
You can't
people
say
look,
that now, yeah.
people
That's
looking
true.
at it.
the
Yeah, the
people
people,
put something
sanction
and black it on it.
the sanction
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, the people looking at us. Oh. Yeah, you got to tell your all the women you keep bringing here. Oh, you know, follow, follow.
No more follow been here.
That man follow.
You got to talk to your people. The other day, you brought the church people here. I came from out the whole place. I felt with the church people. Yeah, I
Me
want
and
no
I,
church business in there.
now your God thing you doing here.
The man pleading the blood of Jesus.
When the people come, when they go in, they say, "Oh, you go in, but we ain't get gas." You say, you know, that they have to spend $200 on gas. So you don't be bringing your people here like that. They say, "But, and follow about that. You say you won't be senator. No, leave that in there."
See that thing. I don't hear for all
No,
that thing.
no. In fact, what I'm downgrading him.
In fact, I will not be senator anymore. I'll just be representative.
Yeah. You know,
Man,
listen,
downgrade.
I got to ask smart. You know, I got to save some money.
Oh,
know,
God. Oh, man.
Representative that get one little district. That's why I said I come into my give it because that district that only 20,000 people that want to do smart thing for the people.
No,
But you be me all day. You say, oh, you know, follow the thing here. You be me. Oh, you gotta take the whole country.
and they can't do have it. I ain't worried.
When I tell you something, they say, oh, the church people. What kind of church people? Look at. Look at.
Every day, church.
Yes, a farmer. I finish spending $100,000 every day. You say, follow. You say, you see, go in the house.
Oh,
we even
God.
get food yet today. They ain't get.
All right.
What kind of country is it?
A senator wants to be re-elected. He tells his constituents he must re-elect him because he knows book. And it's brutal to argue in the Senate and his opponent doesn't know book. What type of country is this? What type of country is this?
What kind of country
They
is
get caught up, a mosquito can bite some of them, and they will not even feel it.
there is something you say, follow.
What type of country is this, Shaggy McCaffrey? When all the top government employees' children are living overseas, if their children were living in Liberia, the country would be a whole lot better. Example, they will make sure that the hospitals are functioning well just in case the children got sick.
Yeah.
They will make sure the educational system is at an A level because they want their children to be educated. They will make sure light and water is available or are available. Roads will be good and etc. So what type of country is this that all of the future leaders, they from the elite class, they're out of the country. So when those children come here and learn,
yeah,
they're not gonna go back to contribute anything.
That's true. So let me come to our own media colleague there.
Let's finish with it one quick. What type of country is this tomorrow, YG? When JNB pick Cummings and all the Cummings supporters in America lose their minds. But we don't know.
The people say over that day body.
Okay. What type of country is this? Very soon they will see money flying over Monrovia from his mother tomb.
Yeah, what type of country is it? So, let's come to our media colleague as well. What type of country is this? When the Female Journalists Association of Liberia of Fiji, that's supposed to be an advocacy group, is headquartered in one of Mr. Weir's 49 condominiums. So how do you criticize Mr. Weir when the man is your landlord?
What type of country is this? Oh God.
And so he said something to them, and he said, "No, Kulasco."
You put people outside.
Y'all go put it
People
outside.
said the movie tomorrow, yeah.
Y'all put it outside. The thing is stupid, yeah. Y'all put it outside.
And you living in my house, you not paying no rent, then you won't put him on me. Figure to say, you pack your things and go. That's what when anything that happening. When was the last time you ever heard from Fiji?
He's that tight lip.
If you ain't want to be evicted, the headquarters in one of the main homes.
But listen, what type of country is this? Emmanuel Jackson said we can't get from Bill to away anymore. We can't even get from Serena Stephens.
Yeah.
I talk about John was running in Riverside.
Yeah, the man run, but the kind of publicity that we used to see,
no,
they throw it, give it away.
Money Finney, go home.
I like
Money
that.
Finney, go home.
Money Finney, go home. Same way, same way.
As small as Riverside is, my man, Bill Torre, just going here closer, my man.
Yeah, man, quiet. You didn't man, a stupid man. But get a one upgrading road. The money almost finished downgraded straight. It's how we senator again. Let me try representative.
But I said the man sent for 7,000 people from Volcano to the other day to come register in Maggie.
But you know, interestingly, why I won't be surprised. Maggie does not make it the representative, and he gets appointed to be either mayor of Kakata or representative of Maggie County.
Yeah,
that way he doesn't have to spend. It's just the fact that if we had to win the game, then he will get elected. I'm
yeah. But you know the whole thing here, Volcano, this is a big political gamble. Because the players job we are saying now many times go to there when club we are asking man how the thing go, you say the people they clean in our in our town. The thing we gotta try our best because the people vest. So if the man loses the election, Maggie will just be maybe the main township for Kakata.
So Rams brother says here, what type of country is this that has all the rubber and the biggest rubber plantation, but we can't even manufacture condom and rubber?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
If people take the rubber and ship it abroad, and we don't have jobs, no finishing products, my man.
What type of country is this? We have not seen the Lord Mayor in public in a few months now.
They make you know America, they signing now. They said, now you're a frisky dreamer.
You better slow down.
Oh, dear, you wear boy, you pass it around when you're talking like you on a farm. That will hear you again.
Oh my God! That young woman keep texting me, man. Let me go pick her up.
Go. We got me to leave.
You know, Ambassador, oh my God, my God, to you. Is every time we hear your little thing around here, you going up and down, you disturbing the peace. Let me hear you one more time.
Hey, I stay here. I'm every call.
Say if you think you may go ask my gay.
Oh God.
Anytime they call the ambassador named Malcolm, I get a look at right. He said, they're gonna bother here. So Well, as soon as say Ambassador Marcos, they say they make up PTSD. They make a nightmare. Oh, sorry, no see for oh. So this is a general. Can you imagine? So this is a general charge with corruption. What an irony, Volcano.
Hey,
You were supposed to be the chief prosecutor. You are said that you're being accused of fraud. Lord
what
Jesus.
type of country is this that
Yeah.
doesn't have any mental health institutions in the country?
Mhm.
With these elections coming, we will need it now more than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Costa could be the first client on Friday. Well, that's not me, oh, that's Shaggy McAfee.
That's Sagi doing it also.
Speaking
So
of,
Henry Costa, you return the issue, please forgive us.
I mean, yo, don't hold responsible, yo.
We not a cause. The people just commenting, they say, we got to cancel antidepressants. Because the people will pass out on Friday.
We gotta make special wards at JFK. We gotta put a psychiatric ward quickly.
Yeah, but man, some people will not eat.
Now 302 some people get it in 4-point restraint.
Yeah, 302 involuntary admission.
That one thing I put it in 4-point restraint, mechanical restraint. The 4-point.
I said, my man, what happened to you? He said, no matter, oh man.
If I raise my hope, then he can dash
Yeah,
me.
he got dash me. Can you imagine, my man? I was running with a man all over the place. They said, why you did so much? Oh, my man, I used to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. Running camping. And the man left me and took him home. Jesus.
So,
What
so,
is it?
so what happened to John Lobo too now?
John Noble said, but my man, no, John Noble over. You were not running into Mr. VP, so at least in a comfortable position now.
Yeah.
After the election, now that turns out other people too will start taking the heat. Can you imagine you that be carrying around, you carry yourself as the future minister of state? And then Babe look at you and get you Jordan Maggie. They're gonna powder here, so can you imagine when I spent 6 years with the Ube, you had a man to take the joint, give it to Maggie? Politics, my man.
and
Unpredictable.
there's a season for it, Moses. There's a season for politics.
Oh yeah.
And this is the reality point.
Yeah.
Between now to October 10th,
That's it.
I'm telling you, it's humorous here tonight. We're releasing stress.
Yeah.
There will be some serious events
Of
that will
course.
take place.
They're gonna be alive.
Yeah.
A
And
lot of mental health.
you and I are in our little comfort zone.
My
Because
man,
me and
you know what?
politics ain't got nowhere to go.
No, all we want to do, go to bed, sleep well,
And my man, I tell you,
wake up and eat,
uh,
do what we gotta do. We
yeah.
want nobody. We're not worrying. Oh my man, whether they considering you to be this or considering you to be that. All that stress, we say no. We don't want it. We just want to be regular people.
and
Yeah.
I think the way we were talking about it the other day,
Yeah.
come to think about how the coming scam, because the two more dominant
Yeah.
opposition candidates are Barker and Cummings, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Factorize our Pape Tiawon in the picture and the
Yeah.
rest of the guys, but in dominance.
Yeah. Those
And-
are the two parties.
And even if those people wanted to do it together,
Hmm.
it was just going to be chaos because of their separate camps.
Yeah.
Because certain people in the Cummings camp already know that
Yeah, they got
hoping,
positions lined
yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah, for certain lucrative position where the
Mhm.
chopping is, like you
Mhm.
can say.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Barca people see. So if those two people merge, then what happens?
There
But
are people, somebody gonna suffer.
yeah, and then if you
Yeah.
think about even the Prince Johnson who talking now, what did he say? He said we did not live up to his promise.
Promise.
So what
Yeah.
is the proposition on the table if
So
Barca
right
should
now,
pick Jeremiah Kuhn?
of course,
What's
that
what
after
the,
election they're gonna
yeah.
sit out and decide who becomes what.
So it's sad that these people continue to compromise our country for
Mhm.
personal greed. They
Yeah.
continue to compromise the projection of the country, integrating everybody, bringing people on board with their different talents to
Mhm.
contribute to the country. They continue to keep that country stagnant,
All
all
by
because
themselves. Yeah.
what is in it for them. It's
Mhm.
not what is in it for the country. It's not what is in it for the unborn generation. It's not
Yeah.
what is in it, you know, for the real people who need to be in places.
Right.
They always want it for themselves, and it's
I
just a
agree.
few. And that's not going to change the status quo. It's not.
No.
It's not going to go. Look, let me tell you something, Moses.
Mhm.
I say the country is finished, and when I say the country is finished, I'm saying it's finished because I'm not sure if I will see anything different
Oh.
because we have done nothing to show that we're making progress or we're taking baby steps to do anything different.
That's true.
October 10th comes in what is it called inauguration, right?
Inauguration. Yeah. Yeah.
Inauguration in January.
Mhm.
You see, it will just be status quo. It will be status quo.
Yeah.
Trust me. Trust me, Moses. And thank God we'll be here. I give God the glory each day for the breath I breathe, and I ask Him for long life.
My
But I
man.
tell you, I don't think much would be done, even with we are with anybody else. I tell you,
Yeah. I tell the Lord, thank you every day for the opportunity to be among the living. I pray for myself, my family, my friends, and just continue to be a private person. Come here on a Tuesday, on a Friday, and laugh it out. That's okay. I ain't got time to worry about where I'm going to sit, who will come and tell me, say, yes, sir. No, I'm not interested in that. I just want to be able to have some level of ease in my life. So I'm contented with that. So all the boys who are, and don't get me wrong, it's good for people to have ambition.
yeah,
But if the ambition is extremely high, man, at this time, you would be more stressed than anything,
yeah,
because you're trying to please somebody. You get it into debts. Do you know that, Volcano?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
People crediting money here and there just to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine you go through all of that and somebody look you in the face and say, well, Volcano, I think I have to rethink the decision. I don't think it's now time for you. Your hope is dashed. Yes, you can recuperate, but it is going to take time.
Yeah, because everybody have different coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And some people don't even have a plan B. Some
No.
people right now they go into Liberia. I know people who resigning their jobs here to go to Liberia,
Yeah.
and they say they're going, they're not coming back.
You see that?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that you go and some things go the other way, you stuck.
so my man you're saying that like bro, not be better on the 2065. But my man, I won't be here by then. By I mean,
Yeah, but many old men will be resting by that time.
I won't be here by 2065 for you. For you, my you won't be here.
Pressure for many old men will be resting by that time. We'll
Mm.
pray for long life.
And the way the man doing it, this it's depressing again. I thought the man was going to say 2030. Said the
Yeah,
man
there's a 2065. Woo!
is so depressing. Roger, is that how you going to treat us, my man? Look at
The
it.
man right carry all backward.
Yeah, let me can make it a 2065. He can make it there, but I don't know if we'll be able to.
No, 2065, no, my man. That would be more than 100 plus.
Like you said,
I wonder how long ago.
whatever country is this? Whatever country is this? that everybody want to be in power, leaving your talk show,
Yeah.
a daytime
And
job,
run
go
tomorrow.
run campaign to be VP. Is that the only way to help the people, the country,
Yeah.
be in power? I tell you, man.
Yeah, but
Uh,
man, you know.
Now imagine the millions being spent just to get public office. That
Yeah,
money could
but
be spent to build institutions.
of course.
Emmanuel Jackson.
That's true.
Listen, Moses, we gotta go.
A
It's
great
nice talking.
show, man. It was it was good that we made it
Just
finally.
just give me 2 minutes after we
Sure.
close so I can talk to you on the proposal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. So just hang backstage. I'll come to you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for joining us here today. We had a great time. We're looking at the infrastructure of Liberia, the iconic structure we had in the country, what is there now, especially our bridges and the like thereof, from government to prioritize these institutions and to keep them in good shape. But not only that, they're contributing because they allow foreigners to come in the country and go into business that don't make sense by dredging our rivers to take sand and sell back to us at astronomical prices, but undermining our infrastructure right there, and no one gives a damn. It's sad. It's sad for Liberia, and that's what I think, and I continue to think that the country is about finished. And until we can resurrect the right leader, the one who will come, it just takes us 20 years to put some things back in place. 20 years of robust governance of structure, governance of policy implementation, governance of system, governance of putting the right people in place. 20 years can give us back Liberia. 20 years. Other nations done it. 20 years, that's all we need. But I want to thank all of you for joining us here. We would not have the time to go through the list here tonight to call everybody name, but everyone who showed up, we say thank you for your comments. Come back here and join us on Tuesday. We're hopefully going to have another great conversation. Again, we say thank you for being there with us. We love your viewership. Continue to share the link, invite others. I'm Volcano, Shelton, Moses, Sandy, and Alfonso. The three of us here make up the Issues Room team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night. Depending on where you are, it's nighttime here in our end. Thank you.